Hello, everyone. Thank you. How is everybody today? Oh, yay. I'm excited too. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited that you're all here. Is everyone doing well? I hope so. Juan, my friend. I heart you. Hello, Elliot. Oh, I don't blame you, little dandelion. I'm feeling down too. I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit today. So yeah, we can feel down together. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, Carolyn. The best you can be in the circumstances. It's really all we can hope for, right? It's just that's awesome. I love it when people are playing Animal Crossing while listening to my live streams. I love it. I love Animal Crossing so much. I'm trying to gather all the materials to make devotional rooms in my house. Oh, thank you, Allie. Yeah, I'm feeling a little I've been feeling a little down, so I decided to get kind of all, prettied up for the stream today and for Aphrodite since it's Friday. So to kind of make myself feel a little more energized. That's so cute, a heart-shaped lake for Aphrodite. I love that. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. I want to do that. Oh my goodness. Okay. So hopefully we don't have, thank you so much. Hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties. I gave a little prayer to Hephaestus and Hermes and asked them to protect our live stream and make sure that we don't have any issues and that I can upload the replay because a lot of people were really upset that they missed out on the last live stream. So I'm just hoping that there's no problems today. So I did pray to them and said I'd offer them something as a thank you for helping out. So hopefully we have Ayla's here. Yay. Hopefully Hermes and Hephaestus will look out for us because I'm really just not even in the mood to deal with YouTube's bullshit. Just not at all. Thank you, Ayla. Thank you, Sky. Oh God, I got the book you guys recommended to me. I found it on eBay, used for really cheap. I'm really excited. It shipped out. I can't wait to get it. Ayla and Sky recommended me a book about Socrates because of Ayla, I'm getting super into Socrates because I'm kind of realizing that him and I are pretty much the same person in that we're always ranting about mythology and he doesn't like Homer and I don't like Homer. So I've been joking that I'm Socrates reincarnated. Yes, I love Hephaestus. I went on a whole thing about him on Tumblr about how he's a god of passion, just like Aphrodite and Ares are. But his passion is just different than theirs because it's so hyper focused on the one thing he loves to do so much that it's evolved into devotion. And that's his passion. It's all about like dedicating your life to that one thing that you just love so much, and that it's even when you get to the point where you've learned everything you needed to learn, you discovered everything you need to discover, you've done all the techniques, you've basically perfected your craft, you still do it because you just love it so much. And that's Hephaestus. You know, like, I was actually thinking that, Ayla. I was like, I wonder, Apollo has been around me my entire life. So I'm like, I wonder if that also plays into, me being Socrates reincarnated. But, I also, but I don't know if Apollo was yelling at Socrates like he yells at me. But maybe that's why he yells at me so much, is because you're Socrates. What are you doing? You were so much better in ancient Greece. Now you're this 30-something-year-old New Yorker that's just not listening to me. What happened? Yes, I love Hephaestus. Hephaestus is like, I realize, like, I'm so protective of him, I realize, because, like, I definitely see him as representing the neurodivergent community. Specifically, like, for me, it's my brother's autistic. So I definitely see Hephaestus in him, and I'm super protective of my brother. I love my brother. He's like my entire world, and he reminds me so much of Hephaestus, especially because my brother, like, he's got his the things that he likes that he's so focused in on, and because he's so focused in on, he's literally just does the same things every single day. He's basically a genius at it. He's so good at I mean, he loves video games so much. He's like one of the best at playing video games. Like, there's sometimes I can't get past a part. I just hand the controller to my brother and he'll do it within like 3 tries. Yeah, Apollo yells at me out of love. It's Apollo, my relationship with Apollo is actually a good thing to talk about, because I kind of did want to discuss. I had a bunch of things I want to discuss, but one of the things is definitely talking about how, the gods are, first off, the idea that the gods are very complex, right? They have different aspects to them, which kind of then brings out different parts of their personality, showing that they're more than one thing, and they can appear to us in different ways. So the way that I experience Apollo likely not like won't be the way you experience Apollo, because we're kind of interacting and they're giving us the different aspects and the parts of themselves that we need. So Apollo is a god that very much cares about humanity. He feels very protective over humanity. He wants to help us live arete and, live to our full potential. He wants to watch us succeed. He wants to watch us grow and gain knowledge. But how we all go about doing that is going to be different. So for me personally, I grew up with basically zero discipline. My parents never disciplined me. It's amazing that I'm the way I am, because I've literally had no discipline in my life. I kind of got away with a lot of things, and I really didn't have that many consequences for my actions, and I wasn't held accountable. So, and also because I was really good at school, naturally good at school, that I could hand in, like, I could do something the night before and get like B's and A's on it without a problem. So it was kind of like, I never felt like I needed to have discipline. I never needed to put structure in my life. I didn't have really much structure in my life. It was just kind of like, my parents literally just kind of like let me navigate the world however way I felt right, even though I was a child. So yeah, I completely lack a sense of discipline and specifically self-discipline. So now as an adult and doing things like this, like trying to, maybe expand my platform here and create more content and everything, everything is from my own willpower, like I don't have school or teachers or bosses or anyone telling me, okay, this needs to be done by this time. It's just me going, okay, I'd like to have this podcast episode out by this day. And then I have to keep myself hold myself accountable for that and give myself and have the discipline to be like, put down Animal Crossing and work on the podcast that you want to do, you know? And my brain doesn't work that way because I didn't grow up having people constantly say, no, you need to do it by this time. And this is how you organize your life, where you do little bits. You know, I never had that. It was kind of always just like I was left to do things myself. My parents just like, well, she'll get it done. She's a smart kid. She'll get it done. And then I just, you know, somehow managed to get what I needed to get done. Of course, a lot of it took a toll on me mentally and emotionally, but I managed to get everything that I needed to get done and pass and get good grades. But I didn't really learn how to keep myself accountable and to have structure in getting things done. So Apollo being very good at that, that's definitely part of Apollo's realm. That's why he's hard on me, because he's trying to instill discipline in me. He's saying, you know, this is what you said you wanted to do. You said, and that's the whole thing too. It's like he's not forcing me. He's literally just going by what I say I want to do. Like when I say I want to wake up early, you said you want to wake up early, and yet you continuously go to bed at 4 a.m. and you think you're going to wake up early? No, it doesn't work that way, you know? So that's why he's so I think that's why he's hard on me, but it's because he knows that I'm capable of more. He knows that I can achieve the things that I want to achieve. It's just what I need more of is is discipline, basically, and structure, and being held accountable and sticking to my deadlines and things like that. And not to mention, like, I already have a God in my life that's more softer and gentler and a lot more like, let's have, you know, well, yeah, you cry your eyes out, sweetheart. Yeah, life sucks. It's the worst, or knows how to talk to me in a very like, yeah, you know, you probably could have done it, but I understand, you know, it's hard for you. You're going through something right now. You know, you're doing your best, and that's good. And that's Aphrodite. Aphrodite is very like that with me for the most part. Lately, she's been a lot more assertive because there's a lot of stuff I'm going through right now that I definitely want to talk about. So, but in terms of Apollo, like, he knows I have already the sweeter, nicer, gentler God that's kind of more, I don't want to say, she doesn't handhold, but it's definitely, she just knows how to use sweet words to kind of get the point across. It doesn't sound as like Apollo's blunt. Apollo's just like he did it to me this past weekend. I was falling into a depression, and I was just kind of laying there and being all like meh about everything, and being, you know, feeling sorry for myself with a lot of stuff. And, you know, knew in my brain, I was like, I know what I have to do, but I'm not going to do it because why bother? I was in one of those moods. And he was just like, you know, I get you're going through. I understand it's rough for you right now. I get it. But what you're doing right now is pitying yourself. Just want you to know that what you're doing right now is pitying yourself. That's all you're accomplishing right now. You definitely have the ability and strength to get up and do what you need to do to feel better and to move on and move past it. But you're just decide that you're not going to, and you're just going to lay here and be miserable. It's just like, thanks, Apollo. Thanks. Yes, it's definitely good cop, bad cop situation going on. He's pretty impractical. I just see what you guys were all saying. But yeah, it's all about kind of like what it is that what you're going to be receptive to, you know, because some of us grew up in a very strict, like very like too much discipline, you know, too like with people who weren't that kind or didn't, you know, didn't treat you necessarily nicely or with understanding or compassion, you know, who were very much like, no, you need to get this done. And if you don't get this done, then we're going to have a problem, you know? So in that sense, Apollo is likely not going to act the way that he does with me, because that's just going to turn that person off. It's probably going to trigger them and make them scared, and you know, that's not gonna help the situation whatsoever. So it's likely that Apollo will be a lot more gentler and softer, you know. I think it's like, it's kind of reminds me a lot of the sun in a way, because and I've decided that how I rationalize everything with Helios and Selene and Apollo and Artemis and the sun and the moon is I'm just letting, like, Selene and Helios are the actual sun and the moon, and Apollo and Artemis kind of represent what are the gods of what they represent, like what the sun and the moon represent. Because it's so hard to take them away from the sun and the moon, especially Apollo, because he reminds me so much of the sun. Like the sun is both kind of has that, you know, you can have the warmth of the sun, and the sun brings so much joy, and it brings light, and it brings, you know, the warmer weather. So it like for some of us who have, you know, winter depression, I know some people have summer depression, but for those of us who have winter depression, we tend to feel happier when the sun's out. And I mean, the sun also like gives us the vitamin D, so that makes us happier, but the sun can also burn you. You know, and the sun can be too much, and it goes into your eye when you're trying to drive, and you're like, great, now I can't see. So just like the same thing, like Apollo can be both. He can be blunt and, you know, and be a bit of a hard ass and give a lot of tough love, but he's also can be very warm and inviting and very much like, you know, you're going to be okay. You know, I believe in you. You're strong. You can do this kind of, you know, kind of energy. And yeah, we started off the live stream. Well, technically, I started talking about Hephaestus, so that's okay. Yeah. Exactly. He knows exactly how strict and lax to be, Allie. Exactly. But I think that's also how a lot of the gods are. You know, they're going to show us the parts of them that we need. Like, this kind of leads right into a lot of the other stuff I wanted to talk about was, like, I think I'm slowly discovering more of Aphrodite's, I guess, darker, shadowy aspects, because she's pushing super hard for me to do shadow work. And with her, usually, for those of you you've followed me for a while and been to the live streams, you know that I do shadow work with Persephone. But Aphrodite's been like, no, we need to do shadow work. We need to do it. No, you need to do it. Like, and like very persistent with it. You need to do shadow work. You need to do shadow work. You need to do shadow work. So I'm actually going to start working with her in that realm of being able to do shadow work, which I think is like more of like her underworld side and everything. So that's going to be interesting. I'm definitely so so one of the things I really want to do more of with the platform I have is to talk about the not so great things. Because we've had this conversation before where it's kind of seems like and this is in general, this isn't even just for our community. This is just how social media is. The idea that social media kind of gives off this feel that everybody else has their life figured out but you. You know, everybody else is doing good, but you're not. And this, or like, the idea that specifically in our community that everybody else is having these great relationships with the gods and it's just nonstop communication and wonderful, and they're having these beautiful moments all the time where the gods are just talking to them and loving on them and doing great things and all that, when in reality that's not what's happening. It's just that we share the good, we share the extraordinary, we share the moments that are meaningful to us. And it's not that we're doing it on purpose, like trying to, you know, I mean, some people might be, but I think the majority of us, it's just that we get excited and we want to share with the community these amazing moments that we're having with the gods. You know, that's normal. That's being part of a community, being humans and being part of a community. That's what you do. You get excited about something that happened to you and you want to share it with other people. That's normal. But the problem is that when, and even not even just new people coming in, I think even for those of us who've been in the community for a while, still might get upset seeing just a nonstop like roulette wheel of just, you know, good, wonderful, positive, happy, you know, all this about the gods and worship, especially, you know, when we're in a place where maybe we're struggling with personal stuff or with the gods and our devotion, with our craft or whatever, that sometimes it gets a little like, am I the only one that's missing something? Am I the only one struggling? Am I that bad of a follower that I can't get my shit together, but everybody else seems to be able to get their shit together? Or even when someone else seems to be like going through something, they're able to continue worshiping and I can't do it. You know, it kind of, I think in some ways it alienates us when it's just nothing but good, wonderful, positive. Hi, Dag. So I want to start sharing more of the I don't want to say like not so great as like, you know, super dark and negative. That's not it. But just even when I'm not, I go to try and talk to the god, be like, I tried to talk to the gods today, didn't get an answer. You know, like actually share more of when things aren't happening or when things aren't going the way that I planned it to, you know, and kind of talk more about my mom's here. Hi, Mom. You could tell it's my mom because she called me Jessica. Exactly, Carolyn, exactly. It can be really frustrating, and I think again it makes us feel really alienated from our own community because we feel like we're the only ones that's having a problem, you know, and toxic comparison is a real thing. It's something I think we all struggle with. I struggle with a lot, actually. And looking at other people, like we can't help but always just think the worst of ourselves and the best of everybody else. You know, like we think like they're living the high life, they're doing wonderful, great things, they got it all worked out, and they're, you know, they don't go through the struggles that we go through, when in reality we're all struggling in some way, and likely a lot of the same ways, you know. Yeah, exactly. So that's why like now I'm really making more of an effort to want to not just put all of the good stuff or those great moments or, you know, those meaningful moments, but actually talk more about like when things don't go right. Like I posted about how I tried to do something on the full moon and none of it went right at all. Like I just ended up feeling like basically like horseshit afterwards, and I was beating myself up because that's what I do. And it was a whole thing. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna talk about this because everyone's gonna be talking about all the great rituals they did, all the great moments they had, the beautiful things, you know, that they were able to do and things like that. And that's great. This is not at all telling people not to share the good and the positive. We still need that. Absolutely. We need that. It just needs to be a balance, I think, to show the whole scope of what being a worshiper, what being a human is. It's the good and the bad, you know, it's that wheel of fortune that spins, and sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. That's life, you know, unfortunately, that's life. So I want to kind of try and showcase that more, where I talk about like both sides of it. Because I know, like, especially because I get a ton of questions from people that you could just tell that they have this misconception that's formed because of what they're seeing on social media and what's being shared. They have this misconception that it's that, you know, once that almost like this idea that if the gods like you, then they don't ever leave you alone. And if you're worthy, all of a sudden you're just getting, it's like you got the God phone and you could just pick it up at any point in time and you're just like, yo, Zeus, what are you doing? And, you know, Big Papa, you want to come hang out? And then he shows up and then you're hanging out with Big Papa, and then, hey, bring mom with you too, you know, like that. It's just this nonstop thing and it's like anytime you pick up the phone, they answer, instead of the times where, you know, shit happens for whatever reason. And there's a million reasons as to why they don't pick up that phone, or they do pick up that phone, but it's bad connection again, for whatever reason, you know, and it has nothing to do with how they feel about you or your own worthiness as a person and as a worshiper. Yeah, Ayla, you totally should. Honestly, Ayla, like, I just need to say, like, I adore Ayla to pieces, and I've been having the most amazing conversations with her about just everything. And talking with her has helped me so much with just kind of like rethinking my worship and how I look at myself in terms of my worship and everything, because I think that's important too, is being able to have those conversations with each other, because then you realize, because like I look up to Ayla so much and I love her relationship that she has with the gods and the way that she talks about the relationship. It just feels so like it's just flourishing and it's so beautiful and it's just, they're so connected and everything. But then talking to her, it's not saying it's not like that, but she tells me all these times when it's like, it doesn't go that great, or when, yeah, she pisses them off and has to do stuff to make it better, you know, that it's not always as you perceive it as somebody scrolling through a Tumblr, you know? And I think that's the same with possibly with me too. Like listening to me talk or scrolling through Tumblr might give off a certain impression of how my relationship is with the gods, which likely isn't what it actually is. You know, I don't talk with them every single day. I don't feel them every time I go to my altar. I don't, you know, and some things really, at the end of the day, some moments of communication it's not always like 100%. Yes, that was the God. It's literally just me being just accepting. I've gotten to the point where it's like, if something happens and I think it's the gods, I just go with that. I don't question it. I don't sit there and go, well, I just go with it. So sometimes things that I'm sharing, it's not necessarily like 100% I'm convinced that was the gods and not just a conversation I made up in my head. I've just accept, because you have to go with one or the other. You know what I mean? Like, sitting there and thinking about it, you're never gonna really get a full proof. You just kind of have to trust your own instincts, and you just got to go with that. Whatever your instincts are telling you, you just got to go with it. That's really what a lot of communicating with the gods comes down to, is trusting yourself and then just going with it and not thinking too hard on it. Just being like, one of the things I was listening to something that Power Priestess on Tumblr, Courtney, was talking about with intuition. And that's exactly what she was saying, that it's intuition is really something you don't think about. It just, bam, it's there. And like, you don't question it, because it's like it's that first thing that pops in your head where you're like, that was Apollo. And then you just go with it. Like, intuition happens before thinking does, I think, is like what she said. And I'm like, that's exactly it. That's how I go about it. It's whatever my first thought is. If I start thinking about it, then it's like, okay, no, that's me. That's my own ego. That's my own brain. That's my own mind. That's not the gods. Yeah, I think that's a big problem, is that a lot of people don't trust themselves. We don't. And a lot of us are even struggling with just even like being comfortable with ourselves. So how are we supposed to trust ourselves? That's a big problem with it. And I think that's the big thing with communication. And what is the big, like, I think if I was to pick like the one thing to really focus in on to try and get better at communicating, is learning to trust yourself. Because I think that's the big difference between people who seem like they're having a lot of communication with the gods, and they're talking to them a lot and interacting with them a lot, versus people who are struggling. I think a lot of it has to do with having that confidence in yourself and learning to trust what you're feeling and what your instincts are telling you. I know. It's hard. Trusting yourself is very hard. Exactly. It's true, little dandelion. It needs work. All relationships need work. That's another thing, is I feel like people expect the second that they start worshiping for a relationship to be formed and a bond to be made, when it doesn't really work that way. Just like how we have to warm up to people, so do they. Even though they've been watching us in a lot of cases and everything, I think there's still that period of getting to know each other and figuring each other out, and figuring out the relationship. It's something that it's something you continuously work on. Even like, I've had my relationship with Aphrodite for about 6 years now, and Apollo, I'm convinced, has been with me my whole life, but I still work on my relationships with them. It's always like trying to improve it, trying to fix it, trying to, do more with it and take it to a new level and everything. And it's always, you got to put effort in it. And again, just like any relationship, sometimes you mess up, and that's okay. It happens. The gods aren't as, the gods don't get that offended by things, especially because we're flawed. We are going to make mistakes, and we need to be allowed to make mistakes, because for us, actually, that's one of the best ways we learn, is by making mistakes. I'm actually trying to look at mistakes in a whole different way, because I have a lot of anxiety around making mistakes, because I have my perfectionism, and I have which I'll talk a little bit more about. I've realized I have a very negative voice in my head that just does not like me at all and is constantly telling me that I'm trash all the time. It's awful, but because of all that, I am terrified of making mistakes. Absolutely terrified. It gives me so much anxiety. I feel like I have to be perfect all the time. I feel like I have to know everything. I have to, say the right things, present myself the right way, just never show kind of any vulnerability or weakness. Like, it just has to be perfect all the time. And I'm trying to change that, mindset. And one of the ways that I kind of came up in the shower, you come up with the best stuff in the shower. I was just sitting there thinking about mistakes, and I was like, making mistakes, it's an opportunity. And it's an opportunity that you get to learn, to grow, and to be better. That's what mistakes are. Especially for us, because we're going to make them. We're flawed, we're imperfect. It's just what's going to happen. The mistakes that we make, the small ones that don't harm anybody really, or even the ones that maybe do, but we didn't mean to, as long as you take that opportunity and you hold yourself accountable for the mistakes that you made and you learn from them and you grow, then the mistakes aren't as awful and terrible as we try to make them out to be in our brain. Exactly. I like that. You got to fail forward. I'm keeping that, Lisa. Thank you. I love that. You got to fail forward. It's true. That's because, like, most people who make things, people who, people who invent things, they don't ever get it perfect or where they want it right off the bat. A lot of things are trial and error. You sit there and you work on it and you figure out, okay, this doesn't work. Let me try this. Failure is kind of part of success. It's very rare anybody just does something and then boom, they're successful. You kind of do have to fail a few times to figure out what works and what doesn't, and to have those moments to be able to grow and to be better and to do better. And then you do better. And that's usually a success does come from your failures. Yeah, it is very hard to see. That's why I really want to. This is actually something that Aphrodite has been pushing me with everything that's going on, to be more open. And I think I am decently open with you all about a lot of things, but she definitely is pushing me to be even more open, specifically with more of the, like I said, the negative parts of things, because I do think it helps. And in a way, it shows us that we're not alone. And that kind of in itself creates a sense of community. Like, positivity and being uplifting is good, but also being able to share our struggles with each other and to show, hey, you're not alone in this. I feel you. And to have that sense of someone understands you and understands that pain inside you, that creates a bond too. That creates something very special. I mean, if you see in Pixar's Inside Out, that they showed that, which I loved, how sadness, was able to be empathetic with Bing Bong in that moment. And it just shows, like, sadness in a way has its benefits, especially with human interaction. So speaking of, okay, so let me share a little bit of what I've been going through and what I'm going to do and everything. Just so everyone can know, because I know I'm not the only one. I know the second I start talking about this, everyone's gonna be like, yep, oh, I have that too, because I feel like this is a common, actually, it's not just a Jessie problem. I feel like this is, a lot of people have this problem. But so I kind of realized this is something that I discovered while I started going back to therapy, because some of you might know the beginning of this year was awful for me. I was in one of the darkest places that I'd been in like years. So it was really bad. I was really, really depressed. So I decided to go back to therapy and work through it. And with going through therapy and kind of really trying to pay more attention to what my thoughts are saying, how I'm feeling, and just kind of analyzing all that, I discovered that as I call it, the Sephiroth to my cloud, so like my big, huge final boss and villain, is this voice that I have in my head that always, no matter what, is telling me negative things. It's always saying that, I'm garbage, that I'm nothing, that I'm not as smart as I think I am, I'm not as pretty as I think I am, that whenever I do something, like, it's going to tell me when I get off this live stream, it's going to tell me, why did you say all that? No one wants to listen to you. You're boring everybody. You're just whining on a camera. Like, you're not doing anything great for the community. Stop acting like you're doing anything great. You're just this. You're not well spoken. You're awkward. You don't know enough. You think you're a priestess, please. Like, it's a hater, basically. Yep, see? I knew everyone's gonna be like, yup, uh-huh. Yep. So maybe we can like find a way to get our negative voices to hang out somewhere else away from us. But that's what happens. It happens constantly and no matter what I do. So it was really bad for me because it was the first time I ever done anything like this. And some of you might have been there, or I talked about it, that I'd done kind of like a discussion with somebody about Aphrodite over on their Discord and everything, almost like they were interviewing me. And that was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. And I was really excited about it because I felt like, oh, this is a really great opportunity. I love being able to talk to other people. I feel like, oh, am I actually, are things starting to move for me in terms of expanding my platform and doing more with this, where I get to talk to more people and help more people, like really excited about it. And I enjoyed it. But like I said, it was the first time I ever done something like that. I didn't really know exactly what was going to be asked. So it was kind of very on the spot. And, I think I did fine. But the second I got off, my brain was like, you were awful. You were fumbling. You were just a bumbling idiot. You were not articulate at all. Everybody now knows that you're like, they all think that you know Aphrodite, or that have any knowledge at all in this. Now they all know that you're just a fraud. Like that, my brain likes to say that to me all the time, that I'm a fraud, that I'm not what I say I am, even though like being authentic is my number one, like most important thing. Like I never want to not be authentic, but that's probably why my brain tells me the opposite, because it knows that's important to me. So it's just like, no, you're a fraud, and now everybody knows it. And I had that, and it was just, and because also I have anxiety, and I have social anxiety too. So it's kind of like all of it wrapped up, and I just was getting, and it expanded so much to the point that literally it wasn't even just about that one situation. It expanded to everything. It was like, I don't even know why you're trying to do any of this, why you even do your live streams, why you have your blog, why are you even a Hellenic polytheist? You're awful at it. The gods don't like you. You're, you know, they don't even know why you keep hanging around them, and you're just, it's this just nasty voice. Yeah. Thank you. See, I'm happy, even though I feel awful that you all go through this too. Like, I absolutely hate it because it's not fun at all. But there is also a part of me that feels like better that I'm not alone in this, that it's like, you know, this isn't a struggle I necessarily have to deal with on my own. Yeah, the freaking critic. But yeah, like it always expands too. Like, it's one thing could happen, but then all of a sudden it's like it turns into you were awful in that interview. So then now you shouldn't be doing anything that you're doing. Don't try to make being like a priestess or whatever, or having an online business a career, because you're obviously shit at it. And then it turned into, why are you even worshiping the gods? They don't like you. You're not good enough for them. You're not doing anything you said you were going to do. You're just awful. To then even bigger of just, you're a shit person and you're not as good of a person as you think you are. You know, it just kind of like expands, and it just becomes like every single aspect of your identity just gets completely trashed by this voice. And it's so sad too that, like, what the part that really bothers me too is that I'm lucky in the sense of, like, I get a lot of really beautiful, heartwarming, touching compliments that tell me the opposite of everything my brain's telling me. It says, you know, people tell me all the time, you've helped me so much. Your work just is so inspiring. You're so kind. You're compassionate. You're sweet. You know, I look up to you. I'm just, you know, like, but it's so hard to absorb that, but it's so easy to absorb the negative, right? And that's so fucked up. And I hate that. I hate that I could get so many beautiful tearjerker compliments that I literally, everyone I get just means, this is why I always say, when people say nice things, I get very happy about it, and I say thank you, because I have a voice in my head telling me that I'm shit all the time. So to have the you know, have proof to be like, no, Jess, you're not shit. You're actually pretty great. And I really, you know, I like talking to you. I like listening to you. I like your work. I like what you do. It means a lot that, you know, I can be like, no, brain, look, you're wrong. Stop assuming what they all think, when I actually have proof that that's not the case. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It turns into it's one thing, and then all of a sudden, just as you said, you get one bad grade on an assignment, and then now it's, well, you're never going to be successful in life because of one bad grade. That's exactly what it does. One thing. Like I said, I had that one interview, and it turned into, like, everything you wanted to do, you're not going to be able to do because you're awful. Even though, like, you know, that was my first time, like, regardless of whether I was a little awkward or not, the idea is that was my first time ever doing anything like that. And even my therapist was like, did you even give yourself credit for actually doing it? Like, regardless of how it went, the fact that you actually did it? And I'm like, no, I didn't give myself any credit for it because my brain doesn't let me take credit for anything I do. It's always like, no, like I forget I have a college degree. I mean, not that like, you know, nowadays, like it's kind of like your high school diploma, you kind of need it, but still, you know, the school I graduated from is a good school and everything, but I still forget I have that because my brain's just like, whatever. Oh, great, you have a fucking college degree? Who cares? So many other fucking people have a college degree and they did better in college, so you're not even using it, so who cares? Like, that's what my brain does to me all the time with everything. Like, it's very, it's like, oh, what, you want a fucking medal for that? Like, it's so mean. I have a hard time, like, I literally have to have people remind me all the time, like, you've done this, you did that, did you, you know, I think a lot of you, if you followed me on Tumblr, like when I did, you kind of have seen a little bit of that part of me when I was doing my daily checkups, where I was actually listing the things that I did, because my brain has a tendency of being like, you didn't do anything today, even though I'm severely depressed and I managed to do the laundry, which is when you're severely depressed, that's a big fucking deal. But, you know, my brain's just like, oh, great, you fucking cleaned your clothes. It's what you're supposed to do. Like, it's so mean. Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks, Mom. My mom has this thing, and she always reminds me, and it's the stairs analogy. And she always, every time, the stairs analogy is always, you know, sometimes when you're walking up the stairs and you look forward and you're like, oh my God, I still have so much more to go, so much more to do. But if you look behind you, you see how far you've actually come. And she always reminds me of that, because yes, I have a tendency of being very thinking of like now and the future and everything, and not at all understanding like I have come so far in my life. Like Jessie from a few years ago would not be able to do any of this. She would be, you know, she's where I am now, like with driving, with just also like my overall happiness and my overall like desire to be better. Like old Jessie would have very much in this situation. This is why I think Aphrodite's pushing me now, because I'm in a place now where I can handle everything and finally heal myself from all this, because past Jessie would not have been able to. Past Jessie would have, like, if I would have realized I had this voice in my head, that would have been devastating to me. Like, that would have sent me in a very dark place, and I just would have been like, well, this is my fucking life now, why bother? You know, that was very me back then. Well, now I'm much more in a place where I notice these things, and instead of, I mean, sometimes I go into those modes of like, well, why bother? I did that this weekend, but I had Apollo being like, get the fuck up. You can have tonight. I'll let you have your pity party tonight, but tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're going to fight this. You're going to fight it. And that's what I'm doing now. Instead of just giving up, I'm going, okay, this sucks. I'm kind of devastated about this, to know that there's a part of me that hates myself that much, especially when I thought, you know, I'd conquered self-love, but I haven't. But now that I know it's there and I'm understanding it more, that means I can fight it. That means I can make it quieter. I can not listen to it. You know, now that I'm aware of it, now is the time to actually get rid of it. Or at least, I don't think it's ever going to go away, but I think I can make it like a whisper, or at least make it where I know, okay, we're not dealing with you right now, and focus on the positive and see the reality that I'm not trash. Be able to have more confidence in myself and what I do, you know, and also trust in what other people are telling me when they're telling me, you're a great person, you've helped me so much, you've inspired me. Actually trust that and absorb that and have that be what more defines me, as opposed to these random nasty things that voice decides to say to me. Aw, thank you, Allie. Abso-fucking-lutely, Daniel. Thank you. Thank you. Can I just congratulate everybody here for waking up today and for every little thing they've accomplished, no matter how small, because it matters. I'm proud of y'all. Thank you, Daniel. That especially, and that goes for any day, but especially now, because you know what? We are not required to do shit other than stay home, and do what we can to not spread the virus. That is all we have to do. That's it. And a lot of people have been saying that because there's been this and I can definitely agree that I've fallen into that trap that, oh, now that I have time, I should be doing X, Y, and Z. But the truth is that this is actually a time where you don't need to give into what society and capitalism says is productive. You don't have to live up to that. At this point, you do whatever the fuck you want to do. And if that's just playing Animal Crossing all day, fucking play Animal Crossing all day and be happy and be proud of it. Because you know what? You stayed home and that was all you needed to do. You stayed home and you are helping all of the hospital workers, the nurses, the doctors, the healthcare workers. You are helping all of them by staying home. And that is all you have to do. So Aphrodite has been pushing me a lot in this month. She's been very more assertive because she knows it's time. It's time for me to face my shadow. It's time for me to actually deal with this stuff. So I decided that starting on the new moon, because I'm going to follow the moon cycle, I'm going to do intense shadow work with Aphrodite. And I'm going to share the journey with everybody. Because I just feel like I have no problem, really. I know, and there's nothing wrong with keeping things private. That's not, I think you should. I just have I have no problem sharing. So I figured since I have no problem sharing, then I should share so that everybody can kind of see the journey and maybe be inspired to go on their own, or maybe what I learn helps other people and everything. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that, which is going to be intense. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be difficult, but it's got to be done. It's got to be done. As Aphrodite and Apollo keep telling me, it's got to be done. You have to do it, especially in regards to wanting to do more of this, have this kind of be my career, be a priestess, have my business, help people in the community and and serve the gods, do all of that. That's kind of really what I feel called to do and what I want to do. And Ayla was definitely helped me understand this, because she was right in that unfortunately with the internet, as your platform grows, you get more trolls and get more negativity thrown at you. And so I need to be prepared for that. And I think a lot of what Aphrodite and Apollo are doing is preparing me for all of that. They're saying, yeah, this is your calling, this is what you're supposed to be doing, but you need to get in a good headspace. You need to deal with your shadow. You need to deal with your shit so that you can be the best version of you and you don't let all that negativity get to you. That you can ignore it and instead focus on all of the good that's going to be coming your way instead. So shadow work, it depends on how you go about doing it. I go about where it's kind of like typically I work with Persephone, but I'm going to be working with Aphrodite this time, which is going to be very interesting. But how I do it, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but how I do it, it's a combination of tarot and journaling, because those help me out a lot. Journaling especially is my favorite form of shadow work. It's the simplest form, because when I just start writing, and I get on top, like all of a sudden, like things just start, it's almost like doors in my brain just start opening up. Like I've had a lot of breakthroughs simply by journaling things out. So I do a lot of, like, I'll pick a topic that I want to like start somewhere with, and then I may start journaling about it. And if I come to a place where I'm unsure, then I will pull tarot cards, and like I'll ask, like with what I'm going through right now, one of the big things I'm trying to figure out is where it comes from. Like, where did that negative sense of self, where did that negative voice grow from? I'm positive I know some things, and I think it's not a one. I think because it's so massive and it's got its roots into almost everything with me, that it's not a one, like, it's not a one thing that fed it. I think it's a bunch of things, but I want to kind of understand more on all the parts that fed it, because to me, I feel like when you understand the source, it's a lot easier to combat the monster. So that's how I do it. It's journaling and tarot, and then also kind of having the guidance of a deity there. They're usually the ones that give the wisdom to tell you, or to help you navigate, to say, okay, like, no, go down this road, and like go this road, like follow that thought, that specific thought, follow that. And they're also there to help keep you grounded and help keep you okay, because it's an intense process. I want to stress that just because you're going through something doesn't necessarily mean that shadow work should be your first answer that you go and seek, because it's a very, very, it forces you to have to deal with your demons. You have to deal with, you're facing, when we put stuff in our shadow, it's because it's stuff we don't want to face and things we don't want to deal with. That's why it's put in our shadow. It's stuff about ourselves in our lives that have caused trauma, that is triggering, that has really had a lasting impact on us, and we put it there for a reason, because we don't want to deal with it. So now shadow work forces you to have to face it. Not only face it, but like converse with it. You know, you have to have a conversation with it. You have to analyze it. You have to dissect it. You have to literally get inside of it. And that's fucking difficult. So you need to make sure you're in the place for it. Like I said, I was not in the place for it even a year ago. That's why it wasn't until now that I made the discovery, and the gods have said, okay, it's time now. So make sure that you're in the place for it. There are other ways that you can deal with certain things that you're going through. But it's okay if you're not ready for shadow work yet. That's completely okay. Yeah, shadow work is kind of like acknowledging your shadow is just all the things about you, all the things that you've learned, all the stuff that's happened to you, and everything that just goes, you put it in your shadow, and it just creates this dark entity that is always with you. And sometimes it comes out. Certain things will trigger it. Like, one of the things I like to talk about is, you know how they say when maybe something somebody does for some random reason gives you, or you have a reaction to it and you don't know why. And it's something random that they do. It doesn't necessarily have to be like obvious. If someone does something obviously awful, we know why we're reacting to it, but it's something else. It can be something very simple, and we have a reaction to it. And sometimes it doesn't even need to be a bad thing. Like, just watching someone succeed, you could have a reaction to that. And you're like, you know, instead of being like all like, ooh, like, oh, good for them, you have like a reaction like that. A lot of times that's your shadow, because you have insecurities in your shadow, or you have jealousy in your shadow, or there's other things going on in your shadow that's causing you to have that negative reaction to someone else's success. And then, so the idea of shadow work is to finally kind of deal with everything in your shadow and make it so that it's to heal from a lot of it. Because a lot of stuff, it's things that we need to heal from that we never actually healed from. Instead of, we just kind of, again, shoved it over in our shadow because we didn't want to deal with it. Yeah, shadow work. I love shadow work. It helps. It's helped me a lot. But again, it is something that you must do when you feel ready to do it. And I do recommend definitely trying to do it with a deity, because it makes it easier, and you feel a lot more like safe with them around, because you just know that you're not going to fall too deep into the darkness with them there, because they're there to guide you and kind of keep you grounded, and also to help you know your limits. That's another thing to keep in mind with shadow work, that, you're going to uncover a lot of stuff that maybe you forgot about, or maybe things that you didn't even realize, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, like that, oh shit, yeah, that happened, and then that led to this, and like that could be triggering. And it's okay to, when you get to that, just be like, okay, I've done enough for today. I'll revisit this tomorrow or another day, and take time off. Like, it doesn't always have to be, everything doesn't always have to be like, okay, I'm going to do shadow work for an hour every day, and then you stick to that. No, it's one of those things where you go with your own comfort level, and what you can. You don't want to, of course, there's a sense of you want to push yourself, but you don't want to push yourself too far. Like, you have to stay within your own boundaries of it. And the gods are really good at making sure you do that, because a lot of times they'll tell you, okay, this is enough. You've done enough. Go rest. Always make sure too, you do some self-care afterwards. So make sure, if you are planning doing shadow work, you have it scheduled where you do the shadow work, and then you have time to rest and do some self-care and know what you're going to do, so that you don't, because you'll likely also be very drained. You're going to feel very vulnerable, very exposed, so you need to take care of yourself. So definitely make sure you have some self-care that you can do right after. Yeah, exactly, Elizabeth. If you're interested in shadow work, you can just read about it and kind of figure out how you would go about it without doing it, so that when you're ready, you kind of already done the work, so you can just start. You don't have to be like, okay, well, now I'm ready. Well, now I need to look at everything up, how I'm going to do this and this and that. Like, you can kind of help yourself, your future self, by doing the studying now, and kind of figure out how you go about it and what you would do and all of that, so that when you are ready, you did the work for yourself. Oh my God. Yeah, we're going to talk about fucking Billy winning Lana's Grammy. I'm still salty about that. Yes, that's right, Ayla. We were talking about that the idea that the shadow does not like gods. Because the gods help you minimize it, and helps you get rid of it, and helps you heal from it, and tends to be like that's why that's one of the reasons that negative voice in my head is always one of the things it always goes towards is the things that I personally care about, and especially the gods, because the gods are the ones that are always like, don't listen to that voice. Don't listen to that voice. No. And always trying to reassure me constantly that, and they do all the time. I'm very blessed that they're, especially when I actually open myself up more to it, I realize that they're always there to be like, that's your dumb voice. Like, that's not real. Like, we love you. You know, we're always here for you, and you're doing what you need to be doing, and you're not awful. You're a good person that tries their best, and that's it. And so, yeah, the shadow self definitely does not like the divine. That's true, Elizabeth. Yep. Doing things for my future self makes self-care easier. That is true. I need to adapt that more. And that's like a big thing too, like the idea of, I kind of want to talk more about this subject in detail because I think it's really important. It's something that doesn't get talked a lot about in our community, is how mental illnesses affect worship, and that you can't separate the two. We can't be worshipers without our mental illnesses. Like, that's just like, we can't pretend like they're not there when we're worshiping our gods or when we're trying to interact with our gods and everything. You know, that unfortunately our mental illnesses come with us wherever we go and whatever we do. And we always have to be aware of them, so we know when like that voice is telling me, and telling all of you apparently, because we're all going through the same thing, is when the voice is saying the gods hate you, that's likely just either your shadow, your mental illness, or whoever's saying that it's not the gods. So like that's a huge problem, I think, because I get questions about that constantly, where people are projecting their own negative sense of self onto the gods, that it's like how they feel about themselves is how the gods feel about them, which, I mean, that's how we are with everything. You know, if you don't have self-esteem and you don't have confidence, you automatically think that, you know, you're worthless. And so then if you're worthless, then why would anybody want to be around you? Why would anyone want to talk with you? You know, why would anyone want to be your friend? Why would anyone want to date you? You know, we go through that, unfortunately, all the time, even with our human relationships. So it's not a shocker that we go through that also with the gods as well. That, you know, if we can't see any value in ourselves, then how can we imagine fucking gods to want to even be around us, let alone, you know, help us out and care about us? But I think the problem is that, you know, we have to really acknowledge where that's where it's coming from, that it's coming from us and our negative sense of self, and to separate that from the gods. You know, like that's, I think, a real big thing that we need to do more as worshipers. And I think we need to really talk about more and put out there more, because that seems to be, especially because the thing is that a lot of younger people are coming into this. And I remember when I was younger, I was depressed as shit. I was anxious as shit, but I didn't know any of that. You know, I just was like, this is life. This is life. This is truth. This is, you know, like, you don't think like, oh, it's different. Like, you don't, like, it took a very long time for me to accept the fact that I had depression, anxiety, and then to actually actively work on it. It was a whole fucking journey to get there. So it's definitely a lot for the younger worshipers coming in to even acknowledge that they may, although nowadays it is a little bit, I feel like it's a little bit better, because I think, but the problem is like, I think the younger crowd is able to, whether they can go to therapy or not, they're able to kind of, I guess, self-diagnose. They're able to see and be, because I couldn't do that. Like, I clearly had anxiety, but I just thought I was shy. I'm like, I'm just shy. That's it. I'm just shy, and it'll get better when I get older. Got worse. Got way worse. But I feel like, but regardless, I think the idea of separating the gods from your mental illnesses is a big problem. But it's understandable, because I think we identify with what our brains are telling us we are. As I just said before, I had that the negative voice that tells me awful things, and I still struggle with not believing it. And I'm in my 30s now, so it's a process and it's a journey. But I think at least making people aware that that's a thing, that your mental illness is basically trying to tell you things that aren't true, that aren't based in reality, that has no evidence or backup, and that is nothing to do with the gods. And it's more about just you and what you're going through and what's happened to you and things like that. I think at least people being aware of that is helpful. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can check out the YouTuber. Wait, what am I doing? Here, I could type it out. I really love that YouTuber. She does a lot of stuff with shadow work. Shadow work is kind of one of her big things. She's got a lot of stuff on that. I think it's meeting the shadow and romancing the shadow. Those two books. Meeting the Shadow is the first one, and then Romancing the Shadow is the second one. Yeah, Elliot, I struggle with jealousy myself, because like my problem is that my negative sense of self, that voice, keeps me from doing the things that I want to do and doing the things that I know I can do, because it's always telling me I can't. I get really jealous of people who do the things that either they want to do or the same things that I want to do, but they're doing it. I can't help but feel a twinge of jealousy, because I'm like, I want to do that, And now I'm starting to realize that, and I don't like that. I don't like being jealous of people, especially people who have really worked for their success. And the only reason I'm feeling jealous is because of my, like, what I'm going through, and the fact that, I'm not where I would like to be. So I think it's understandable. And I think a lot of people experience jealousy in that regards, because of our own struggles, it prevents us from doing all the things we want to do. So it's hard to watch other people, even though the people who we care about and who we like, and we do feel happy for them, but we also can't help but feel jealous, because we're like, I want that. I want my life to be like that. I want those things. I want to succeed. I want to live my dreams. I want to be able to not have to think about money. I want to be able to, you know, get my own place, or, you know, like I want to feel like I'm moving forward in my life. So, yeah. Well, I like that. Trying to trade. That's what actually I'm trying to do. I'm to trade jealousy with admiration. I'm also trying to like, um, instead of looking at it as jealousy, like, oh, why can't I have that? Like, also be like use it as either motivation, or like also to kind of like maybe reach out and be like, hey, I'm so happy for you. How did you, you know, like, how did you do this? Or blah, 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 you know, can you help me out? You know, instead of being like so negative in it, actually reach out and ask for help from people who I do admire and who are doing what I want to do and what I want, and who get what I want to get, you know? That's what I'm trying to do more. I definitely, because of everything, it's one of the reasons why I haven't really done more like collaborations with people until recently, because yeah, I fall victim of toxic comparison so much because I have that voice in my head. So it's like everybody's automatically better than me. Oh yeah, I could do that. Mm-hmm. Um, but yeah, I struggle with you know, like the idea of toxic comparison and thinking that, you know, um that yeah, like immediately it just like being around other people, especially people who are in the same field or in the same things as me, who are also Hellenic polytheists, who are also maybe Aphrodite devotees, and who are doing stuff just like me and everything, I immediately feel inferior. That voice is just always using that person to make me feel less than. You know, it's always like, look how well they talk, look at how informative they are, look at, you know, they have more notes on their posts than you do on yours. It's because they're better than you. People like them better. They're more, you know, you curse too much. You get too angry too easily. You have to be nicer. You have to, you know, do this. You have to do that. And it's always trying to make me feel like who I am isn't good enough and that I have to be more like other people. And, yeah. That's understandable too, Elliot. Being jealous of other people's, yeah, that I can absolutely see that, being jealous of other people's transition. But that's yeah, I get that. I mean, not the transition part, but that idea of, I kind of experienced that with, you know, watching people have their witchy or pagan businesses and doing these things with it. And I am afraid of, because like I said, I have fear of making mistakes, and I have a lot of fear of not being enough. I have a lot of fear of failing. And then it's like, if I fail at this, then what am I going to do with my life? Like, this is what I've been wanting to do. This is what I love doing. What am I going to do? So yeah, I definitely feel that. I feel like we're all really sharing right now. This is nice. I mean, it's sad because I do feel awful that you guys are struggling, but I think it's nice that we all feel like safe enough to share here. I know another thing for me with the toxic comparison, and it's also because now I kind of have like a platform and have like an audience, um that's just kind of made the voice louder, because now there are other people with their eyes on me, and my more people to like judge me, and so my brain immediately is like, for anyone who's seen Stephen King's Carrie, you know, her mom, when she's like, they're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. Like, that's literally my brain all the time, just saying, it's just saying that everyone's just gonna laugh at me and that everyone's just gonna think that I'm like not that great, you know, especially if I have somebody else with me. It's always that idea that everybody, and this I know comes from, this part I know where it comes from, because my entire life, I don't have any friends from high school. I don't have any friends that from college. I don't have any friends that I've been friends with since childhood or since my teen years or early 20s. I don't have any of that because they've all abandoned me. They all decided either another person was worth more, or they get, you know, this is why I get very angry about, or get really big with showcasing that like romantic relationships isn't the top, like the top tier of relationships. Like, it doesn't need to be the most important relationship, because I've had so many times where I'm really close friends with somebody and then they get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and then all of a sudden I don't exist anymore. I don't matter anymore, despite, you know, everything we've done for each other, everything that we've shared, you know, and you know, what we've said to each other about how we're going to be friends forever. The second a partner shows up in their life, then all of a sudden I mean nothing to them. And it's just, so I think for me, I've kind of developed this thing that someone's always going to find somebody better. So the idea that if I do collaborations with other people, that, you know, all my followers are going to see me and this other person, and immediately it's going to be like, oh, Jesse's not that great, that person's better, we're going to go and follow them and talk to them and do everything with them, and we don't need Jesse anymore. Because that's what's happened to me my whole life. Even though the truth is that this is the internet, you can follow and interact with more than one person, you know, like, we're a community. You don't need, it's not like it's just you pick your favorite and that's it. Like, we're not picking sides here. Like, you know, you can follow as many Hellenic polytheists as you want, join as many live streams as you want, and do, you know, support as many as you want. Like, it's not you pick one and that's it. That's your, like, this is your house. This is your Hellenic polytheist. This is your priestess. That's it. You don't get more. It's not like that. But because my whole life, you know, everyone they've moved on to someone better, that's left in my brain that I'm not good enough. There's always going to be somebody better. So yeah. Yeah, it's true. Thank you. Yeah, just don't believe that voice like Carrie did. Like, yeah. Aw, thank you, Allie. Aw, thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is definitely group therapy. This is Aphrodite. It's okay because Aphrodite pushed me to do this, so I think she wanted us to do a little bit of group therapy here, so yeah. Aw, Juan, I heart you so much. Thank you, Cham. Aw. I love you all so much. I do. I really freaking do. It's like, you know, this is kind of what I'm dealing with my brain right now, and trying to deal with it, because I know it's not true. I know it's just a lot of, I think what it is, it's a lot of combination of things that I learned growing up and voices of people, what they've said to me throughout my life and everything. And I think that's mostly what our negative voice is. You know, it's kind of echoes of what others have told us, and or even not necessarily said with words, but with their actions and everything. That's kind of snowballed and just turned into a giant big monster. And it's kind of, we have to, unfortunately, slain it. Oh, yes, group hug. You guys are the best. Yeah, you all are such blessings. Seriously, gifts from the gods is what you all are. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through right now and what I'm working on right now. So it's now you all know. Oh, anytime you need a friend, I love that. But yeah, I'm glad that it does make me really happy that not like we all feel comfortable enough and trust each other enough to share. Because I know how important that is. Like, for the longest time, I was very, I saw vulnerability as a weakness, and sharing especially again, because my whole life I just had people ditching me, and a lot of times they would use the secrets I told them against me. So I kind of learned, like, oh, you don't share anything with anybody, because everyone's just going to use things against you, or no one really cares what you have to say. No one cares about your feelings. That was a big thing too. My feelings were invalidated all the time as a kid, because I'm mostly water, so I'm very, very emotional. I navigate the world through feelings, but I was in families that don't know how to deal with honestly, the only person who still gets me is my mother, because I get a lot of like that, being emotional and feeling and being compassionate and understanding and wanting to help people. That all comes from her. My father does too. Like, he likes to help people out too, but the more emotional aspect of it is my mother. But my families, both sides as a whole, like, they don't deal with anything. They don't share feelings. Instead, they just do passive aggressive bullshit, or they talk behind each other's backs and everything like that. Like, there is no sharing feelings. Feelings are definitely seen as weak. And if you try to be like, well, you hurt my feelings, people are going to be like, grow the fuck up, So, yeah, I was always taught that my feelings were not important, and that I was being dramatic if I tried to share them. So but I've been doing better with that. Obviously, I'm here on the internet divulging all of my issues to you all, and it's going to be on replay, so anyone who stumbles across it can see it. But I've also just gotten better with like sharing, like reaching more out to my friends. And then that's been really, really great, having the support of people. Like my one friend, Alyssa, has just been amazing, and has, I've been talking to her about everything, and she just is always just like reminding me, you're amazing. Like, and she's great too, because it's like I can share a lot of this with her, and she's not a witch, she's not a pagan, she's not into really like the spiritual, like, well, she's spiritual in her own way, but not really like the metaphysical kind of stuff. She's not really there, but I can still talk to her about everything, and she listens and she absorbs all of it. And she tells me things all the time. Like, she'll say, when I tell her things that, are happening on Tumblr or things, she's like, she'll read it back to me, she'll be like, you won an award. You're going to be doing the convention. People say all nice things about you, and you got the podcast, and you're doing, like, she's so quick to be like, the big joke now is that you're fucking majestic. Jess is in Majestic. You're majestic, which was really funny because Ayla also called me majestic, and I didn't say anything about my whole thing with my other friend, and Ayla once said, you're like really, really big majestic. And I was like, oh my God. That's it. That's my word. I'm keeping it. So yeah. Okay. Group therapy. But yeah, that's my whole big thing now is trying to just share more, not just the positive, but more also the negative, to kind of give a good scope on everything and to just kind of allow people to know that they're not alone. Especially because I think because a lot of people do look up to me, I think it's nice to look at someone you look up to and see, oh, Jesse's struggling too. Jesse's still going through this, or thank you, Ayla. Yeah, exactly. My name is in the word. You can't spell majestic without Jess. Yeah, so I'm trying to just give the full scope of everything and just help us connect more with these things that tend to, alienate us or make us feel like we're alienated. But to say, no, I go through it too. I have moments when I have moments of doubt. I have moments. I have moments where I'm like, I'm gonna give all of it up. I've had those moments where I'm like, you know what? I don't believe in any of this anymore. What is it? No, I don't. I've had those moments where I'm literally ready to tear down my altar and just be like, I'm done with it. I've had those moments. But I always have to, take a step back, calm down, figure out where those feelings are coming from. And then usually the gods are like, the fuck. Hermes is like, you think you're going to get rid of us that easy? Ha. No. Bitch, we've been here the whole time. Like, no. Yeah. And that's the whole thing is it's like, I think that's a big thing to talk about in a sense of I was ready to literally give up the whole religion and give up the gods and give it all up. And instead of getting mad at me and being like, you're being disrespectful, this is hubris, the gods met me where I was and was just like, calm down. Like, I'm very Taylor Swift, you need to calm down. Like, all right, we get it. You're going through, it's a lot right now. You're feeling things, you're in your feelings, but don't do anything drastic. And again, Hermes was like, it doesn't matter because I'm not going anywhere. I showed up and never left, so I do what I want. Taking down altars means nothing to me. It is so. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. He's like, you think you're going to get Apollo to go anywhere? Please. Apollo will go away and then just come right back and just start screaming at you. So, I don't know. I don't know what you think you're accomplishing. But yeah, because I think a lot of people are always, they're so worried that anything they do or any doubt or they're just so worried of offending the gods with every little action or even their thoughts. I know a lot of people have issues with intrusive thoughts and things like that. And it's just the gods. The thing is as Ayla always reminds me, and it's like one of my favorite things that she said to me was the idea that the gods know, we don't. So in that regards, that means the gods know where you are. They know who you are. They know what's going on, so they're not gonna hold any of that against you, because they know ultimately how you feel about them, and they know the kind of person you are, and they know when you're struggling. They know, if intrusive thoughts are just something that you experience, and they know those don't define who you are as a person and what you actually think. They know all that. So it's not, you don't have to worry about we don't have to tiptoe around them or worry that anything that we do is going to make them go away. But again, I think a lot of that also, in a way, how we approach things like that and how we feel about the gods and offending them and them abandoning us. I think that says a lot about our own fears and our shadow and the things that we've experienced. And again, I think that leads back to how important it is to separate ourselves and our own trauma and our own triggers and our own shadow and our own mental illnesses from the gods. Not separated in that, not allowing them to help us through it, but separating and knowing that when something that you're feeling or something that you're thinking is likely due to something external as opposed, or even internal as opposed to the gods. Look at my abs, yes. That's the thing. That's how we get people to join. That's how we convert people. Have you seen Apollo's abs? Oh, yeah. I think you said that once, Juan. I see your abdominal beauty. That kind of sounds like a compliment Apollo would give, because you'd be like, what does that mean? That's exactly how Apollo is with me, Elliot. Exactly. He does. He reads me completely. I kind of like it because he's so like, when I go through those moments, like, I think you can kind of read it in one way as maybe him invalidating my emotions, but I don't see it that way. I see it more as like him, it doesn't matter to him that much, like in terms of like thinking that I'm gonna give up my religion and the gods. Like, that seems like a big slap in the face to them, and you would think that they would like have a reaction to it. But Apollo not having a reaction to it kind of makes me feel better about it, because he's literally just like, because he knows me enough to know that I'm likely just getting really upset and worked up about something else that has nothing to do with that, and that's what's happening. And he knows that I love them so much that I would never actually do that. And it's like, and it's also showing like, that's, I don't know, like they just get us, and they just know that we're gonna have these moments of breaking down, we're gonna have these moments of exhaustion, and we're gonna have these moments of imperfection and just meltdowns and sometimes, in my case, temper tantrums. As he likes to call, he's like, you're having a temper tantrum right now. and knowing that that's just what happens, and knowing like, not immediately being like, oh, you've disrespected me, now fine, now I'm gonna leave. And no, he's just like, seriously, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Because we all know you're not serious right now. You're just in your feelings. They do know us better than we do. It's so true. I talk to my gods through divination and feelings, because like I said, I navigate the world through feelings. So I get like certain kinds of like sensations, emotions. Sometimes certain thoughts pop into my head. Signs, that's a big one. I get a lot of signs. Hi, Raquel. I hope you had a good nap or sleeping. He is. Apollo is ultimately like, as much as like I talk about the way I talk about him, like I talk about him like that because I adore him. Like I come from a family that it's like, if you rag on somebody, that means you like them. So yeah, it means they're part of the in crowd. So yeah, so like I know that he does everything because he cares about me. Like he doesn't need to spend his time yelling at me. Like pretty sure he's got better things he could be doing. And instead, he decides that he's going to do what he needs to do to get me out of bed and to get me to, do what makes me happy. Oh, that's cute. Charms. I like that. Oh, don't ever apologize for getting pizza. Please. I would have been offended if you came to the live stream and missed out on pizza. I would be like, what are you doing? What? I am not more important than pizza. I've been trying to do meditation, but it's really hard for me because my brain doesn't shut up. I'm constantly thinking of it's like I'm focusing on my breathing, and then my brain just goes, can't wait to have a cup of coffee. It's gonna taste really good. Oh, and then I'm gonna research Aphrodite. Yeah, that's good. When am I gonna come out with that podcast episode? Probably next week. Yeah, I'll probably do it then. And then, I wonder what I'm gonna ever have the taste of Lay's sour cream and onion chips again. That's my brain just goes off into all these different. And then I catch myself. I'm like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be meditating. Oh, before I forget, because I will forget. And since I was able to share stuff. Okay, so hopefully that works or something. I don't know. I just shared a link to, I know I mentioned it in the last live stream, but because YouTube, it wasn't able to get posted, so some of you might not have known, but Nightshade and Roses on Tumblr, Prim, she's hosting an online witchy pagan convention, and I'm actually one of the people helping put it together. We're still looking for people to run panels and for people for vendors. So if you are interested, I gave a link to more information about it and the forms to fill out. The application deadline is the 20th, so it's in a few days. All for the panels, all you can you could just think of something you want to talk about, and you just kind of let us know a bit about it and what you plan on talking about and everything. So anyone can do it. You don't necessarily have to be, Tumblr famous or anything. And if you have goods and services to offer, you can be a vendor. So this isn't something that's just kind of exclusive to well-known people or whatever, just so the cool thing is even if you don't want to be a panelist or a vendor, you might want to be an attendee, because me and Ayla are doing a panel together, which I'm very excited about. We're doing, basically it's just going to be a Q&A for Hellenic polytheism. So you have the opportunity to pick mine and Ayla's brains, and it's going to be awesome because me and Ayla have the best freaking conversations. So I'm the most excited about that. I am thinking about doing, because you can do up to 3 panels. So I am actually thinking about doing 2 other panels. But if I'm pushing myself. My therapist, after I talked about what happened with the interview thing, she said the important thing is you should keep doing things like that. Expose yourself, do more. So I'm actually like, oh, you know, maybe I'll do soon. We should be I think we're just waiting until, I don't know, because it's Prim that's the one that's doing, because how we do it is we kind of go through them all together and we kind of see what ones that we think fit in what we're doing and that are okay. So we've had some we've had some questionable stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. So we just kind of have to kind of screen through everything just to make sure that things look good and that, you know, nothing is unethical or something. And but you should either, I think she's been having people come into and everything, so I think once it kind of gets approved, then she lets people know. So you should probably know about it soon. If not, definitely by like after the 20th, because that's when the deadline is. But I am thinking about doing two other panels. I was thinking, because Pram came up with a really good idea, and I don't know why I didn't think of it. Probably because, again, like I don't think of myself in these terms of like that I have a podcast. She's like, you should do like a tea with the gods, like exclusive for the convention, like kind of do an episode, but everyone gets to listen to it live. And I was like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. Like, I would love that. And so I was thinking about doing that, and I was thinking about having the topic. Hi, Courtney. Yeah, right? It was questionable. Courtney's part of it too. So I was thinking about, and the specific topics, the one that I feel like I should do, because I feel like it's becoming my own personal topic. It's like my own personal vendetta at this point. It's my mission. And again, it's why I think I'm Socrates reincarnated, or I'm at least like a descendant or something, because I think I might just do a panel on mythology and the role that it plays in our worship. And because I'm going to be honest, Tumblr is starting to get annoying to me. And it's not because, and I'm realizing it's not necessarily because other people aren't doing their research. It's because I feel like I'm like screaming in a void in Tumblr, because I keep getting the same questions over and over again, despite how many times I talk about things, that it's just kind of getting to me now. Yeah, I kind of think that like mythology would be a real good thing for me to talk about, because I get mad salty about it. So I think it really is going to be entertaining for everybody too. So it's going to be, you know, my brand is informative and entertaining. I just have to make sure I keep everything PG-13. Try not to curse too much. But that's what I was thinking about doing, is having that. And I was thinking about also doing, because me and Ayla were going to do the whole idea of mental illness and worship. And but we decided that a Q&A would just be easier for us, considering like she still has school and everything that she works through, and I didn't want to burden her too much with planning out an hour-long panel and everything. And I also didn't want her, because she was also, you know, she's like, I don't want to put it all on you and like stress you out. So I was like, why don't we just do a Q&A? It's so easy. We just have to show up. That's it. We just have to show up and answer people's questions. Like, we do that all the time on Tumblr. I do it all the time on the live streams. Like, we do it all the time. We can do that. So, and I think people would like that, the opportunity to kind of get to like interact with us instead of just sitting and listening to us talk, you know? It makes me sad because I miss you on Tumblr. No, you're amazing. Ayla's the best. So yeah, I was thinking about doing those two topics, mythology and mental illness and worship. What do you guys think? You think those are... You should do a panel, Elizabeth, definitely. just just submit it. There's still time. There's still time. Like I said, the deadline's the 20th, so there's still time. Oh, thanks, Courtney. We definitely have to do a sit down, me, Ayla, and Courtney. That would be so much fun. Oh, thank you. I'm excited about yours too. I was actually talking about you earlier in the stream because I've been listening to your it was you shared it in your Discord. It's like your course thing about like intuition and everything, and I was talking about how like you were talking about how something's into your intuition when it's like the first thing that comes in your mind. You don't have to think about it because intuition comes before you before your thoughts do, before thinking. I loved it. I'm like really I love the course. Courtney's the best. This is just a big love fest now. We got through our group therapy. Now we're just all like, okay, we did the negativity. Now it's like, let's just love on each other. All right. But yeah, so the convention is May 1st through the 3rd. It's on Discord. When we get everything more figured out, like I think we're having it where we let attendees in like a few days before it and everything. It's free to attend, but I know you get extra perks if you don't. Because I keep fucking forgetting the most important thing of this. The point of this convention is to raise money for charities, specifically that deal with COVID-19 and everything. So that's what we're trying to do with this, is to raise money. So it's free to attend, but you do get extra perks if you donate to, I think we're going to have like a list of charities, and then you donate directly to the charity, and then you're going to give us proof that you did it. We're not handling any of the money. It's going to be either you're donating or the vendors deal with all of their stuff themselves. Like, we're not handling the money at all. So that's the whole point, is to raise money. But again, it's free. I know that all my panels, any panels I do, are going to be free. Mine and Ayla's is free. Any panels I do are going to be free, but some panelists have the option to make it like a donation based, or they charge a fee. So there's that. And then of course the vendors are going to be having their own thing going on, whether things are donation based, you donate portions or what, that's all up for them to decide. But I figured I'd let you know, so you guys, you can still attend. If you can't donate any money, you can still attend and everything. And my stuff's going to be free. So you can at least hang out with me for a few days. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're making it very, we just don't want to make anything, we just want to cause any problems with stuff. So I thought that was a really good idea. We're like, oh, don't handle the money. Okay, good. But I'm excited to do this, because this is first time I'm really doing anything like this, but I'm really excited. So I hope you all will attend. It'll be nice to have some friendly faces in the crowd. But I'll let you know exactly, more as it gets figured out. But yeah, I'm thinking of those are the two topics I'm going to do, is mythology and mental illness and worship, because I just feel called to those. And yeah, I could rant about mythology. We all know I can rant about mythology all fucking day. We all know I can do it. I've done it before. But it's really going to be like I already know. I've been kind of like, what's the word? Stalling a little bit, because my brain's just like, are you sure you want to do 3 panels. Are you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, you know what? Yes, let's do it. It's going to be fun. And I need to do things more, like put myself out there more and do things more that maybe are a little scary, but are ultimately going to be good for me. So, yes. If there's anyone who can give a good mythology rant, it's me. I'm the person for the job. Because it's just like, oh my goodness. I feel like I'm always answering that question. I get people all the time being like, should I believe in the myths? I'm like, nothing against them, but I would just feel like, am I just screaming in a void? Because I feel like I'm always, I'm pretty sure every live stream, every single one, I've ranted about mythology for a good hour. I really feel like it. You all would know. A lot of you have attended almost every live stream, or at least watched them. So I'm pretty sure I've ranted. Pretty sure I've ranted in every single one, and I know I've ranted about it in Tea with the Gods, and I rant about it all the time on Tumblr. Like it's my thing. I think it's starting to be what it's my thing. Like, you want to hear about mythology? Go talk to Jessie. She'll get mad about it, but she'll give you good information. I think that's what I'm going to do, because it's really becoming like, it is becoming my mission now to dispel all those misconceptions about mythology and where it fits in our worship and how to go about interpreting it and how it relates to the gods and all of that. I feel like that's kind of my my calling right now, what I need to do. So I feel like that would be a good. Yeah, you'll get it eventually. Eventually it'll happen. Do you mean slut shaming? Like slut shaming? Like, it's slut shaming? Is this some kind of new word that the kids are using that I don't know? Okay, slut shaming. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I think slut shaming in general is ridiculous. Like, what's wrong with people having a lot of sex, as long as it's, oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? Consensual. And it's, with adults, and like with age appropriate people. That's more what age appropriate. I don't see the harm in it, and I don't understand why people have issues with people having sexual freedom. And of course, why wouldn't the gods have sexual freedom? Like, they're gods. And a lot of it is also like, the thing is truthfully though, when it comes to mythology, because that's really where we see the gods having sex, is really in mythology. But a lot of the purpose of, there's like a reason for that. It's because they're making babies. Like, that's the point, is that it's not about who they're having sex with. It's not even about having sex. Like, if there was another way to make babies, I mean, guess they're divine, technically there is, but this is through the scope of what humans, know and all that. So but the point is the sex is not the point. The point was to make the demigods, or to make the god, like to make other gods. Like, it was the babies. That's the point of all of that. So ultimately, Are the gods having as much sex as mythology says that they are? I don't know. Just like, I'm kind of sad. The thing I'm the most sad about is about the other live stream not getting posted is we had really good conversation about the god's sexuality and everything. And it's kind of the same concept. Like, it's the same concept that the only thing we go on is mythology. But again, we know mythology is written by mortals for mortal purposes and with mortal biases and things like that. So it's not, I mean, so are they? I mean, Aphrodite definitely is. I know she is. But are they having all that sex? I mean, I imagine that they are. But all we have to really go on is mythology and, you know, our own interaction with them. Because I don't think I've ever talked about sex with gods on the live stream before. I don't think I've ever have. But, you know, people have sex with gods. So maybe, you know, apparently from how many people are saying that they're having sex with Apollo, he's getting around. So, and that's fine. It's nothing wrong with that. Like, get it, Apollo. That's what I say. I'm very like pro, well, I'm pro sex. I'm pro whatever the fuck you want to do, as long as it's consensual, as long as you're safe and you're healthy and, you know, you're taking care of yourself and others, you're doing it the right way, then go. Go get it. That's for mortals or divine. Go get it. I don't know why people feel the need to slut shame the gods. I don't get that at all, because it makes no sense to me. But there's a lot of things. It's funny because I'm reading, you know, academic articles about Aphrodite specifically. And it's funny because a lot of things that they talk about in there that the academic world shouldn't do is, I'm like, that's so funny because we're having the same issues in the actual like worshiper realm of it, where they were saying things like, you know, you can't hold the gods to mortal standards. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Can you please tell the Hellenic polytheistic community? Can you tell, or even just people who have read one mythology book and thinks that they know everything about the gods? Can you please tell them that? And like, that's the academic circle. And they're saying that. They were also talking about the whole thing began with the author being very clear about that you can't just look at literary sources and everything to understand a god, especially Aphrodite, that you got to look at the whole scope of, you know, the actual worship of her, where she was worshipped, what her epithets are. And I'm like, this is what they're saying about academia looking at the Greek gods. Now, so you could see then if that's important in just researching the gods for an academic sake, imagine how important that is when you're worshiping them. I was just reading, I was like, oh my God. This person gets me, even though they're coming from a completely different like area of this, they get me. Yes, exactly. The gods aren't human. Honestly, like I'm like convinced that like 99.9% of all of us have been in that situation where we believed, because it's so prevalent in just everything around us, where because the Greek gods are very, out of a lot of the gods like of polytheist religions and everything, the Greek gods are the most well known, and they're the ones that we most learn about, and they're the ones that get put into media more. And so it makes sense that we would, we grow up having this image of them so that we would believe that, especially because of the way it's all taught. And I'm realizing that now, looking back on everything and what I know now, the way that it was taught was very much put emphasis on mythology. Like, mythology was very important. And it's not to say that it's not, but I just answered an ask about this where I said mythology is a piece. It's a piece to our religion. It's not the whole puzzle. It's just one part of it. But the way we've learned about it is more that it's this, we've kind of learned about it in almost the context that it is the Greek Bible. These are the stories that the Greeks passed down and that they loved and that were sacred to them, and these are what taught them about the gods and what to do and what not to do, and that the idea also that everything was just one way all throughout the whole time that ancient Greece was around, throughout all the city-states, like everything was just one way, when in reality, that's not the way that it was. Like, Greece is very similar to the United States, where every city-state is like a state that has its own ways of doing things, like all the states, we have our own laws, our own cultures, our own beliefs, our own political leanings. We in a lot of ways, like, we're more like Europe, that is a continent with countries in it, like, in some ways, like, that's kind of, and Greece was very similar in that sense, because, like, look at Sparta and Athens, like, look how opposite they are and different they are. That's sort of act like, and me and Ayla were just talking about this too, about how the idea that most of what we know and what we've got from is just from Athens. So what we're really learning isn't necessarily like the ancient Greek way of doing things, it's the Athenian way of doing things. So, and also the idea that a lot of stuff was destroyed and we only have like a small percentage of stuff that, and the idea that to think that it's pristine and hasn't been tampered with at all, or, by the cultures who found it, especially like if they were Christian based, like there's a lot of other things that go into this that we don't learn until you actually go seek it out, or if you decide to actually go to like college for it. Because that's, me and Ayla are talking a lot about that, because Ayla is going to school for classics and ancient Greece studies and everything like that. So she's been learning a lot of stuff through that. That's, and she's been kind enough to pass it all down to me. And it's just kind of like, wow, that's so true, that there's so much we don't know, and there's so much that we have that's been completely messed with in some way. So that now the way that we look at it is more through like a Christian lens or a very highly censored lens. And that a lot of it is also specifically from Athens. So we don't really know, because me and Ayla were talking about how the Spartans were too busy. What did we say? Too busy looking pretty and kicking ass to write things down. So yeah, so the idea is that there is not this one way that things were done, and mythology, and the perfect example is Socrates. As I was saying before, Socrates was very against mythology. He didn't believe like that teaching it was good, because it didn't give a good view and of who the gods really are. Who does that sound like? It sounds like me. but Socrates was saying this stuff. So you have somebody back then already being like, we shouldn't be teaching the myths because that's not who the gods are. So doesn't that say something about the role mythology should play today? If someone back then was already being like, that's not the God that I know, because he's had Apollo with him. And he's like, that's not the God that I know. This mythology does not represent the gods well at all. And we shouldn't be teaching our children that. Definitely, Courtney, I agree with you 100% that the Bible is a perfect example of why we shouldn't take mythology seriously. I agree with you 100%. And it's funny because I was thinking a lot about how I was watching an episode of Criminal Minds where it was like whole thing with like a cult and everything, and it was a religious cult and everything. So, and I was just kind of thinking of just how religion spawns, a lot of I'm trying to think, like a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? It spawns a lot of, oh my god, I just had the word and I lost it. No. Corruption. That's the word. Inspire a lot of corruption, and predators and things like that, because it's people put so much belief in these things and in people instead of also using logic along with it. Like, you need both. Like, you need to have, that's why in my podcast episode, I was very big with wanting to get across the idea that doubt and skepticism is actually a good thing. That keeps you, in a lot of ways, it keeps you safe. Because if you have the ability to actually discern things and filter things that are coming, information is coming at you, you're much more likely to not be susceptible to people who are trying to manipulate you using your own beliefs. That's like, it makes me annoyed, especially now as someone who kind of now identifies as a religious person. It annoys it. Like, I think annoys is not even the right word. It infuriates me that, there are people out there who will use people's beliefs and their desire to believe in something higher than them, wanting to believe that something happens to them when they die, or just, wanting to feel some kind of comfort. That, that they'll exploit that. And it bothers me. And I think that's why I do try my hardest. And we were talking about this, I think in maybe the last live stream, but we were talking about how people just want to be told what to do. And that's why I try really hard in my position to kind of try and push people to not put that much reliance on someone else in their religion, because that, I think, is the big problem in a lot of mainstream religions, is having those barriers between you and the divine, and having like those religious authorities that are going to tell you what you can and can't do, what the God says, what this and that, because that's where the corruption and the manipulation stems from. And people like those positions because they're driven by their ego and their desire to control people and their desire to see how far they can push people, how much people will follow them. So it's I feel like my job, I say this a lot, but I really want to get it across. My job I'm starting to just accept the term priestess. I'm like, you know what? I fucking am a priestess. I'm just going to fucking accept it. But my role as a priestess is not about trying to tell people what to do. It's more about helping people be able to figure things out for themselves, or be able to establish that connection with their gods where they don't need me anymore. That's ultimately, it's like a parent, in a sense of like, I taught you well enough that you don't need me anymore. You know, I don't want people to rely on me. I don't want people to hang on my every word. I want people to be able to think for themselves. I want people to be able to have a relationship with the divine themselves. You know, I'm kind of more there to just guide and to help achieve that. That's how I feel religious authority figures should be, that it shouldn't be like a barrier, or like almost like you're the next step away. You know, it's you and then it's God. Like, I kind of feel, I just don't like that. I don't like that hierarchy either, because I don't think, like, yeah, there's respect in terms of like, I've done a lot of research. I've been doing this for a while. I've dedicated a lot of my life to it, trying to dedicate my whole life to it. And there's that kind of respect, but I don't have a sense of superiority for it, because anyone can do what I do. And I try to help people do what I do by offering up resources, you know, and handing out the information and everything so everybody can know what I know. But I think the hierarchy, I don't like that. I don't like to think like that idea of people who think that they're better than anybody else. I don't like that at all. And I think people who know that based on who I start responding nasty to on Tumblr is usually the people who are extremely condescending, and I don't like that. Oh, stop, Ayla! The majestic priestess. But yeah, to me, that's always been my goal as a priestess, is actually to help people have more faith and trust in themselves and in the gods, you know, not to put it in me necessarily. You know, don't put, I'm going to have faith in Jesse to figure this out for me. I'm going to have faith in Jesse to tell me what to do. No, like, I don't want to necessarily, like, I want to help people, but being the person, like that authority figure, I don't like that. And I think anybody who looks at themselves as an authority figure, who tries to preach in a way that's very much like, this is the only way, and this is the bubble, who are like that, I would stay away from. Because a lot of people really do get into, and especially, like, I was thinking a lot more about, because I was watching stuff about like YouTubers and TikTokers and kind of like shit that's going on there, and especially everything with YouTube, where there's a lot of like predators on YouTube and things. And I kind of am like, this has become almost like the new church, because I mean, that stuff still happens in the church, but because not a lot of people go to church as much anymore, or really put that much faith and trust in, like, you know, the priests and the pastors or whatever, that it's almost, and especially because younger kids are on, who are impressionable and everything, are on YouTube and online, that this is kind of becoming that new place where the corruption and the exploitation happens. You know, and I think it's important that we also really bring light to that, and we, especially the younger crowd, and we let them know, like, to look out for people that are trying to exploit them, and that we say, like, listen, anyone who's trying to tell you what to do, who's literally just wants you to look at them as an authority figure, and who kind of very much, there's a clear, you know, power play going on here, you know, you don't need to listen to them. Now you got on like a whole rant that I didn't expect to go on. Oh my god, I love that so much. Jess, you were one of the best minds in the past life. Justice Brain, you got me spinning like a ballerina. That's the most accurate thing. thing. I really feel like that's why he's so hard on me. I'm Socrates. It's like, what's happened to you? Like, life happened. I'm just all these lives, okay? Definitely, Courtney. If our relationship with divine is dependent on someone else, then something is out of alignment. I agree with that 100%. That's one of the main reasons I never got into, like, because my family's like Catholic. I never got into Catholicism, even though aesthetically it's stunning. But like, I could never get into it because like my freaking super Catholic, Italian Catholic great grandmother is good about to spin in her grave when I say this, because I'd look at like the Pope and be like, who the fuck's that guy? Like, who the fuck is that guy to tell me what I'm supposed to believe, how I'm supposed to interact with God? Like, that's, I also have a problem with authority. I've said that a million times, but I have a problem with authority. I don't like people telling me what to do. So that also plays a part in it. But that's my whole thing. It's like, we're all humans, you know? Like, what makes someone really better at interacting with the divine than someone else? Like, yeah, there is respect for people who put in the time and do all the research and everything, but I really do think that if you're okay in a religious setting telling people like what they have to do in order to be a good Catholic or be a good religious person, then you're doing it all for the wrong reasons. Like, that's how I look at it as. Like, I think it's, I don't know. I just think that I'm always very skeptical of anybody who is completely okay with that kind of authority and being completely home in and being able to say, yeah, I'm the person that's the most in touch with God, so I'm able to give his words to all of you. Like, I don't know. That just feels very, and do it with like a very, because I know people channel the gods and everything, but to do it in a very like matter-of-factly, like, no, this is exactly what you need to do, and if you don't, you're going to hell, or you're going to Tartarus, or you're gonna get slain, you're gonna get smited. Like, that's just me. Yeah, the Catholic aesthetics are fucking gorgeous. It is. It's super restrictive and less cool aesthetics. But it's super restrictive, and I don't go with that. I don't believe in like adding restrictions, you know? I believe life is meant to be lived. Like, if a God was to have put us on this earth and everything, I would like to believe it's because like they wanted us to live. They wanted us to live life and experience life. So why add all these restrictions that really don't need to be? And, you know, but then let other things be okay. But I mean, granted, a lot of that is also how Christians and Catholics decide to nitpick or like, you know, pull out certain things from the Bible that they want to, but then ignore other parts. And it's like, no, you can't do that. You either follow the Bible completely or you don't. Like, there's no, oh yeah. Yeah, the patriarchal thing, yeah. Yeah, exactly, too. That's exactly it, Courtney. There is no biblical basis. It's just the Catholic Church trying to have authority. Exactly. But yeah, that's, you know, that's the whole thing. That's why, unfortunately, like, predatory behavior is so common in the church because it's the perfect place for a predator to go. You have full access to your victims that you don't, and parents aren't going to question you because they treat these authority figures like next to God, you don't question them. You want them to come to your house and you want them to come to dinner, and they're part of almost like part of the family and everything. And also you also don't want to cause any issues within the church, because the church is always going to take their side. So you don't want to be excommunicated from the church. You don't want to be excommunicated from your community. It's such a, yeah, it's true. No, you're right. It's even the Greek gods were used politically. It's so true. But that's like my whole thing. I just wanted to bring that out to let people know that, doubt and skepticism is very good. Don't wish it away, because it's ultimately what's going to help you be able to stay safe in the environment, where you can actually look at what other people are saying and be like, I don't necessarily agree with that, instead of absorbing everything everybody says and being like, this is true, this is fact, and letting people lead you astray. Aw, thank you. It is absolutely, Courtney. It is a gift. It is, yeah. You're right. It is. It's definitely a cult. Aw, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Call me pretty. So nice. It's my weekly dose of compliments. I mean, yeah, that's my whole thing. Like, I don't want anyone to ever be led astray by somebody. So that's always why I really try to push the idea of thinking for yourself and doing things yourself and allowing the gods to lead you, as opposed to some random person on the internet. A lot of people do get into this because to serve their own ego. Like, we may not have necessarily the predatory behavior, but we do have people who like to serve their own ego and who like to feel important and who like, people to, hang on their every word, and who they can possibly, control and manipulate. That's, unfortunately, regardless of what religion you get into, that's going to be there, because like I said, it's the perfect breeding ground for people like that. Unfortunately, it is. So I think the best way to combat it is just to make people aware of it, and just to also really promote the idea that you don't have to listen to anybody. You don't have to listen to me. You just listen to the gods. It's you and the gods. That's all that matters. Oh, did I, Kona? Oh, I'm glad I'm glad it wasn't just random babbling, because it's just something. Aw, thank you. I'm so happy that my live streams and my ramblings, can serve some purpose. Yes, Courtney, that's so true. Oh, I like that. Spirituality is greater than religion. You don't have to follow a set of rules. Absolutely. I like that. The idea that it's like spirituality as opposed to religion. That's definitely, it's so true, especially in Hellenic polytheism, because I think we tend to think of it more, it's like it's a religion, so there's these strict set of rules, when in reality there isn't. Because like I was talking about before, depending on the city-state, people practice it differently in different locations, in different time periods, and a lot of what we have, and Ayla mentioned this in one of our conversations, is the idea that what Reconstructionists are doing is less reconstruction, like rebuilding like ancient Greek religion as a whole, but more the Athenian way of doing it. Like that's more of what that is, because that's the information we have, because the Athenians loved writing shit down. You know, they wrote fucking everything down. They were like, you know, that one person on Facebook who has to talk about every meal that they had and every thought and feeling that they have. That's the Athenians. You know, I have to make fun of the Athenians at least once. But so ultimately, there really isn't any one set of way to do it. Like, you do what feels right to you, and you work with the gods to build a worship that makes sense to you and that's meaningful to you and that it works in your life and that the gods approve of, you know? That's all that matters. Yeah, tea with the gods, therapy with Jesse. I like that. I like that. Aw, thanks, Ayla. Yeah, I decided to wear my cute little dress. And I got my Aphrodite necklace. Aw, thank you. I'm glad. It makes me happy that I am able to help everybody and I give off a nice calming energy and everything. It's just what I want to. It's what I want to do. You know, there's so much bullshit in the world that I just kind of want to try and be, I guess, a light, or, you know, just a positive, safe place that people could go to just, you know, escape and be reminded that they're okay and be reminded that there's nothing wrong with them. You know, that a lot of this is society's fucking problem. And it's fucking the governments of the world, and it's capitalism being awful. And the joke that I have, my friends adapted to it, is the idea that everything is capitalism's fault. And so anytime something happens, she looks at me, she goes, fucking capitalism. I'm like, I'm telling you, capitalism to blame for everything. But yeah, I don't know. I really believe in the idea of community, and that we as human beings should be helping and supporting one another. That's what I truly believe in. So I'm trying to live that belief and do what I can to help people and to create community and create support groups, and just, you know, let people know that you're good, you know, you're not alone, and you don't have to listen to those awful voices in your head or even what other people are saying about you, because a lot of it is their own bullshit and it's not about you. You know, you're great just the way that you are. Thank you, Belle. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's on my I feel like it's like my signature pink. I love the pink. Fucking capitalism. It's capitalism's fault. That's sort of my big hope for all of this, is that maybe things will start to change. We kind of have to, but that's what I'm trying to, my silver lining to everything is that things will change. Yes. Yeah, replace your negative voice with my voice that says, you're amazing. You're wonderful. Aphrodite loves you. Aphrodite thinks you're the best. Anything else I wanted to talk about? I talked about a lot of stuff. I can't believe it's been 2.5 hours. Yeah, sometimes that just happens, you know, like sometimes we're only meant to work with a god for a certain amount of time, and then we move on to another god, or it's that you take a break from one god to focus on another to do something and whatever, and then maybe you come back to that god. You know, it's always, nothing ever has to be super like final. I think it's like that's something I think are always afraid of, that if they leave, that's it, they're never coming back. But I don't think it's always like that, and sometimes it is, but also just like with friendships, sometimes you're only meant to have people in your life for a short amount of time to learn something so that you can move on to the next chapter of your life. Oh, I got it. My friend Belle actually, she sent me a whole bunch of flower crowns because she's just always sending me cute gifts because she's the sweetest. I think she got them from Claire's, right? Belle, did you get them from Claire's? I'm pretty sure it was Claire's because I think that's what the tag said. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're Claire's. Oh, that's all right. You don't have to worry about it, Daniel. I think it's awesome you drawing stuff. And I'm glad you like the topics. Yes. So, yeah, the flower crowns came from Claire's. Yeah, they're super cute, right? Yes, the Midsummer vibes. Oh, I love that movie so much. It is, right? I always feel like so ridiculous walking into Claire's because, you know, I'm 30, I'm 31, gonna be 32, but they have so much like cute stuff that's my aesthetic. Because the world needs to adapt to the fact that I could still like pastels even though I'm in my freaking 30s. I can like pastels and unicorns, okay? There's not freaking like age limit on those. Yeah, I do need to do some. I need to do more magic, period. Actually, I'm might be trying to do a money spell or some kind of like abundance spell, maybe. I have to see because I bought my dad a Darth Vader face mask, and I didn't want to just get the face mask, so I decided they had these really cute Sanrio banks, and I got from the little twin stars, there's Kiki and Lala. I got Lala. She's the one with the pink hair. And it's so cute because it's like, you know, she's got her pink hair and her little white robe and she's holding a little like magic wand and everything. So I was like, I'm going to get this and I'm going to do like some kind of like money spell with it because those seem to be, I'm really good at money spells. Like, I'm really good at those. Those always seem to work for me. Sometimes too well. So I'm kind of going to try it and see if, I mean, I don't even know how that's going to work in the climate right now, but I don't know if I'm going to do money or more like an abundance kind of thing and have money represent stuff, but I know I love little twin stars. Well, so far it seems good. I hadn't had any problems, so like I said earlier, I prayed to Hephaestus and Hermes to watch over the stream and to keep it safe. So oh, I love Hot Topic too. I do admit I love Hot Topic. I've loved Hot Topic since I was a teenager. It's changed so much. I love when people point out my New York accent. I love it. It makes me so happy. But yeah, that's usually how my accent works is like you don't really hear it until either certain words I say or when I get really into what I'm talking about. then it comes out more. Like when I've noticed it, like when I'm really passionate, then it comes out a hell of a lot more. Oh yeah, box lunch is really good too. I know. Yeah, all I want to do is wear the that big flower dress all day every day. It's like all I want to do. Just sit there in that, even if I'm like, I love the whole thing that she just looks so miserable even though she's just covered in flowers. It's like the best thing. I'm like, I relate to that. And then at the end she smiles because she killed her awful boyfriend. Sorry, spoiler. Yeah, collect snow. You can use it for things. I forgot what snow is good for. But yeah, there's like property to snow that you can use. So might as well. I forgot what it's good for because I hate snow, so like I stay as far away from snow as possible. It's funny because the joke with my dad now is that we don't have winter anymore in New York because literally since he bought a snowblower like 2 years ago, we've not really had any snow. Like any snow we've had, like it came and then went. Like it was like melted by the next day. And so we joke. He's like, the snowblower is still in the box. I'm like, that snowblower is like the best snowblower. It's like gets rid of the snow without even having to take it out of the box. You've never seen snow? Lucky. But that's so, I know there are people in the world that have never experienced snow, and that's so weird to me. It's so weird. Yeah, I fucking hate snow too. I hate it. It's the one thing I don't like about New York. It's the one thing that literally like leads me to like California or something because I'm like, I don't have to deal with snow. Wow, it's so weird to me. It's like I know that there are people who've never seen snow, but it's still just so weird to me because it's like I grew up with snow. You know, live in New York. Climate is very much we experience the seasons, so we get snow, but like we don't get too much. Usually, like maybe we have like one really bad snowstorm. Yeah, like I think like my whole thing with snow was fun when I was a kid. I think this is my whole thing with snow. I think if I didn't have to drive, I would like snow. The problem is I'm an anxious driver. I've talked about it before. Like that's what me and Hermes have been working through mostly is my fear of driving. I've gotten better at it, but the idea of driving in snow freaks me the fuck out. So it's just snow brings a lot of anxiety for me. So that's kind of one of the reasons I don't like snow. Because it was fun when you're a kid, because then it's all it is fun. Like you get out of school, you can go play in it, you know, it's pretty, but you don't have to deal with the consequences of snow, really. You don't have to you don't have to dig yourself out. You know, that means you have to wake up earlier than you already had to do because you got to dig yourself out. And then you got to fucking drive in the snow with other fuck, because already fucking people on Long Island can't drive to begin with. So now imagine all these people driving in the snow. I think snow is okay if I don't have to go anywhere. If I don't have to go anywhere, then fine. I'm okay with snow, you know? But if I still have to go to work, then I don't like snow very much. Yeah, we haven't, but New York, I could definitely feel climate change because we haven't had like we really haven't had a lot of snow these past 2 years, like at all. Which I mean, in one breath, I'm like not like I'm okay with, but another breath, I know that that's not a good thing. That's not normal. Yes. Driving makes me so anxious because you have to do so much at once, and you gotta like, and everybody else too. Like everybody else has got to be doing what they're doing, and you gotta watch out for them, and they're watching out for you, and then you gotta like, you gotta know where you're going, and if you don't know where you're going, then like you gotta change lanes, and that freaks me out. Merging freaks me out. Like, I don't like it. I've gotten a lot better though. I've gotten a lot better. So motorcycles freak me out. I mean, they're sexy. Like someone on a motorcycle is sexy, but I don't want to be on a motorcycle, and I don't like driving around people who are on motorcycles. Yeah, I'm the same way, Courtney. I get easily overwhelmed also, especially because, yeah, there's just so much like going on sometimes that you have to pay attention to. Like, even just switching lanes, like you gotta keep yourself in the lane, and you gotta like, you're going forward, but then you gotta like look and make sure that nobody is in the lane that you're, and then you gotta move over. Merging annoys me because that's another thing. Like, you gotta like, you're moving, and then you gotta move over, but you gotta make sure people aren't coming, and you gotta get in the lane before your lane ends. It's too much. It's too much for the human brain to deal with, honestly. Yeah. That was always my whole thing too. Like, the idea of getting into an accident, like not even necessarily getting into an accident and getting hurt. It's just the whole awkwardness of getting in an accident. Like that whole conversation you have to have with somebody, regardless of whose fault it was. That's just awkward as shit to be in an, like, it's super awkward. Especially because no one really tells you what you're supposed to do. At least, I don't know, no one told me. I did get into an accident. This was a small accident once, and I still get like flashbacks, like when I get freaked out by it, but the ride video was awesome. Yeah, so I'm not the only one that's scared of driving. it freaks me out. That's why I always wanted to live in the city, because then I wouldn't have to worry about driving. But now I'm kind of like, I don't even know if I want to live in the city anymore. Yes. Oh my god, yes. Her monologue at the start of the ride video is so fucking good. Oh, are we entering like Lana Del Rey? Talking about Lana Del Rey. Oh, I love her so much. Oh. I'm very happy with Taylor Swift because I was supposed to see her in concert in August. And me and my friend were already like, we hope she postpones it or cancels it, because regardless of when if and when this ends, me and her are like, we're not gonna feel comfortable because the concerts that we're going is in Massachusetts. We're like, we're not at all gonna feel comfortable going out of state. Like, we're probably gonna barely feel comfortable leaving our house, let alone go to another state. So she actually postponed the tour till next year. So we were like, yes. Oh, thank you. Somebody, I have to just say this. Best compliment, somebody randomly, and I don't think they even know who Lana Del Rey was, but I posted, like, because I'm kind of responding now with GIFs of Lana Del Rey on Tumblr, and I had it, like, I used a Lana Del Rey GIF, and someone was like, you look like her. And I was like, oh my god, this is the best compliment I ever got. He told me I look like Lana Del Rey. What? I was like, okay, you're my favorite person now. Now I just want to watch Lana Del Rey videos. I love her so much. Oh my goodness. I just literally put all her whole discography on shuffle and just let it go. And I'm always like, I love this song. I love this song. I love this song. I have officially become a Taylor Swift fan. I'm gonna say it. I'm a Swiftie now. My friend had me really sit down and listen to her music, and I love it. I'm obsessed. I'm literally all I've been listening to is Lana Del Rey and Taylor Swift. It's so a lot of Aphrodite vibes because it's a lot of love songs. But I respect Taylor because she likes Lana Del Rey and she gives Lana Del Rey her props, unlike Billie Eilish. Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, fucking Tropica. Oh my god, no. I can't. No, I'm gonna get emotional. Can't even talk. Can't even talk about it. Unlike Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish won the Grammy for Album of the Year and said Ariana Grande deserved it. And I'm still bitter about it. I like Billie Eilish, but I'm still bitter about that. I'm like, no. And I like Ariana Grande, but honestly, out of everybody, and this isn't even just like a whole, I can't believe I'm still talking about the Grammys. I'm still bitter about it. This isn't even just about, like, because I'm a Lana Del Rey fan and think Lana Del Rey deserved that award. She did. But out of everybody on that list, like, Ariana Grande for me was, like, pretty low on who deserved it. So what did Lorde do? No, Billie Eilish does like Lana. Actually, that's the problem, is she does like Lana Del Rey. She's actually has said before how much she likes Lana Del Rey. But when she won the award, she said she did the whole what Adele did when Adele won Album of the Year and was like, this Beyonce deserves this award. She did that, but with Ariana Grande, which was just like, really? I was just mad about it. Mm-hmm. What did Lorde do? I'm curious what Lorde did. Because I don't know what Lorde did. I don't really like, a lot of people are really into Lorde, and I feel like I should listen to Lorde. Because a lot of people who like Lana Del Rey like Lorde, so I feel like I should listen to Lorde. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Raquel. Lana Del Rey walked so Billie could run. So true. Yeah, I don't believe it. She's lying. I'm just still really mad because Norman fucking Rockwell is a masterpiece. Like, it's so fucking good. Like, I'm still listening to it now. And I literally, it's rare for me to be able to listen to an entire album. I'm usually will skip songs or like just ignore songs completely. Yeah, I just got distracted. I get so easily distracted. Yeah, I usually have a problem. Like, I can't listen to whole albums. Like, there's usually a few songs that I just either don't like, I'm not into, or just I don't vibe with them that well. But Norman fucking Rockwell, I love every single song on that album. Like, if you asked me what's your favorite song, I can't tell you because every song is so fucking good. And I can just put that song on, have it go from Norman fucking Rockwell all the way to Hope is a Dangerous Thing, and just listen to the whole thing and be happy about it. Oh, geez. She did that? Really? That's what fucking Lorde did? That's bullshit. I don't see them as anti-feminist at all. It's just about love. And like, she's also like evolved. Like, she had like, yeah, Born to Die definitely has a lot of like sugar baby vibes to it. But that was just like what she was going for in that album. As it's gotten more, it's actually gotten like a lot less about that and more about just love in general and devotion to somebody, but then also being really strong in yourself. And like, High by the Beach, oh, so fucking good. Like, she's just like, yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna get high by the beach. Like, you know, I'm not buying into your bullshit. Yeah, I kind of love like I fucked my way to the top. I love that song. Or Money, Power, Glory. That's such a good fucking song. Like, she's just like, I'm gonna take all of your money, power, and glory. Like, I'm just gonna do it. So, and you're gonna fucking let me. So, like, yeah, fucking Stan. She loves her daddies, yeah. Oh, I love the sugar daddy vibes. I fucking love the Born to Die album, yeah. I think people need to like chill. Like, if somebody has a fucking sugar daddy and they're happy and they're being taken care of and it's not anything like abusive or anything, why fucking not? You know, like, who fucking cares? Like, oh my god, that's the perfect song to play during abundance rituals. Oh my god, I love that. So good. Yeah, like, she's got so much. If you do, Elizabeth, draw that, please send it to me. I would very much like to see that. Combining Aphrodite and Lana Del Rey is like my favorite thing in the world. Yeah, like, I'm trying to think. What songs am I into right now? I still, like, I love High by the Beach. I love that song so much. Oh, I've officially decided that the Mariner's Apartment Complex is mine and Aphrodite's song. Because I always think about her during the chorus, specifically like when she says, you lost your way to take my hand. That whole line, like that whole part, that reminds me so much of Aphrodite. And it was really funny because today, when I went to go put on my makeup and everything and get ready for the live stream, you know, I sat up, I always do my makeup at my altar, and I lit a candle for Aphrodite and everything and dedicated it to her. And then I had shuffled all of Lana Del Rey's entire discography. because I love to listen to Lana Del Rey while I'm doing my makeup. And the first song that came on is Mariner's Apartment Complex. And it took me a minute to realize what was, because I just sometimes don't even realize what Lana song's on. I just automatically just start singing it. Like, I know it, but the title, like, it takes me a minute. And I'm just singing along. And then all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, wait, this is Mariner's Apartment Complex. And I'm like, oh, I see you, Aphrodite. I love you too. It's so cute. Yeah, I love Lana. I'm like, I want to see her in concert again so bad. It's going to be a while, but. And she's supposed to be coming out with that spoken word book soon, right? She just finally, like, she released the cover of it, I think. I can't wait for that. All right, yeah. All I have to say about that. There's no more to say about that, except hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have. But because of you all, I have it. Corny, but I had to say it. You should, yeah, write them down. Well, I don't know what else to talk about. We covered a lot of ground. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about, or any questions or anything? Because I kind of don't know. We seem to be 3 hours seems to be our new live stream time. We've gotten better from being 6 hours. It was funny because the one live stream video that, like, the first time it kicked me off, that got, like, when it was only like 14 minutes long, that got posted on my live stream and everything, got my YouTube channel. And then someone was just like, yeah, this isn't right, because no way you're doing you have any live stream that's less than like 3 hours long. And I was like, yep. Oh yeah, Athena. I could talk about Athena because me and Ayla had a nice conversation about Athena yesterday, day before. I don't know. Me and Ayla have been talking a lot lately, which I love. We need to do it again. But yeah, we were talking about Athena, and we were pointing out, well, she especially was pointing out how Athena's war side as a whole, but especially like her love of war, gets completely like erased or obliterated or ignored. And we were talking a lot about how, what else were we talking about, Ayla? Like, yeah, like you were saying how in the Iliad they specifically talk about how like Athena is like hungry or craving the battle and craving the war, and like both like her and Ares are on opposite sides, like almost like getting each other hyped, like yeah, we're gonna fight, oh my god, it's gonna be so good. And it's kind of like interesting considering like Athena usually gets more talked about in terms of wisdom and education, and Ares is seen as the only, like the bloodthirsty one and all that one. It's kind of like they're very similar in how they feel about war. Maybe a lot of their approach is a little bit different, but how they feel about fighting is very like similar. They both enjoy it. We were also talking about, yeah, exactly. And we were also talking about too, this one I really liked us talking about was Apollo and Athena both being like, not like both being gods of kind of like education in a way, but like Apollo is the god of knowledge, which knowledge is like receiving. You're learning, you're taking in information. That's knowledge. While Athena is specifically the god of wisdom, which wisdom is usually something you give. You know, like you give your wisdom, you give what you learned to other people, or you apply what you learned to certain situations. That's wisdom. So it's kind of the idea that Apollo, like every knowledge and education and studying and all that goes to Athena, when Apollo has a role in like philosophy and knowledge and the pursuit of all of that, especially because it's in the Delphic Maxims. So obviously knowledge is very important to Apollo. I think a lot of these, like this conversation that me and Ayla were having, is it really kind of reminded me to not put the gods in boxes and to really kind of look at all of their aspects and really see that a lot of things do overlap. Like, I think we're so used to the idea of just this god is this and this god is that, and that there's no overlapping when there is actually a lot of overlapping. Because we were also talking about the idea that Apollo gets all of the creativity, like everything about being creative goes to Apollo, when we also have Hephaestus and Athena who represent certain types of creative endeavors and everything. You got Athena, who's really who's all about like kind of like the like weaving and tapestries and things like that, crocheting, like a lot of like the crafts that use like yarn and thread and things like that, while Hephaestus is a very like, he's all about using your hands to make things, you know, and also that love of creating something. So yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, like I think that's a big thing to keep in mind, is just the idea that the gods can cross over, that it's not like everything creative goes to Apollo, everything knowledge and education goes to Athena, everything about war and bloodthirst and, well, I like to say I don't like to use the word bloodthirsty. I say it's more passion. It's a passion. But all that goes to Aries, and that's it. Like, I think it's more complex than that, and there can be crossovers. So I think that's important to keep in mind. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Elizabeth. People do get uncomfortable when we're talking about the darker aspects of gods. And especially, I think the big problem too today with like Athena and Aries is, especially like the way we view war today is very different from the way like the ancients viewed war. You know, we I think as a whole look down on war. We don't like it. And I think I touched on this in the Aries episode, where I said, you know, we have where all this history of what war has done, and the consequences of it, and just the brutality of it. So it's hard for us to kind of view it. It's kind of like it's hard for us to view it the same way the ancients did, and to kind of see it as, I don't want to say a good thing, because I don't think war is good, but I think, you know, how we like, it's more of like, I guess that there are sometimes war is a necessary thing for, you know, protection, for standing up for what you believe in, and for and even just war within ourselves, like everything we were talking about in our group therapy, you know, that's a war with yourself, you know. I think it's kind of, that's the big problem, is that especially for people who look at Athena, because Ares has the either, I mean, he wouldn't look at it as a disadvantage, but in terms of what we're talking about, the disadvantage of kind of only being seen as the war god. So that's why some people, like a lot of people, can easily turn their back on him and just be like, oh, he's just bloodthirsty warmongering idiot, so I don't have nothing to do with him. While with Athena is kind of like held up really high, even in like our own culture and society, because of her knowledge and wisdom aspect and the education and thing, and that part of her. So instead of trying to come to terms with the war aspect, people just decide to forget it even exists, or just to ignore it completely, when you can't really do that, because you know that's all of it. It makes the god who they are. That is Aries, absolutely. Passion for defending what is good and fair. Yes, that's so true. We're talking about how, well, we're talking about God's aspects basically, and how they overlap in some ways, but then also how people ignore the aspects that they don't generally like too well. That is true. That's true, Dawn. It could definitely be about the fact that like Athens is where we get most of our information from. It's kind of, it is the city state that we tend to hold up. You know, a lot of, I remember being in school and like definitely there was a bias towards Athens, even though I'm like, Sparta is literally right there. Sparta's over there with the rights for women. So why are we standing Athens again? Just because they wrote shit down? Spartans were busy being pretty and kicking ass, okay? They didn't have time. You can't blame them. They had no time. But yeah, no, that could be. But I think it's just also like it works with the fact that our society very much promotes and uphold, like yeah, I guess upholds, uplifts. Our society really values, that's a good word, values knowledge and the pursuit of knowledge, and you know, things, and education and things like that, which is, you know, what is been given mainly to Athena, when, like I said, Apollo also represents a lot of that as well, but it's been mostly given to Athena. So, and I think there's also something special about Athena for people, considering, you know, she's a goddess, but she's different than the other goddesses. She's portrayed, you know, as being more masculine and having more masculine attributes to her. So I think that's something that's very appealing to people. She seems very strong. She's like, seems like a very like strong female role model kind of thing going on. So I think that's another reason that she's treated the way that she's treated, and that people also kind of want to like not deface the image that they have of her in their head, which does not include her war side, you know, that side of her that's a little, that, because I think then they obviously have a lot of issues with war, and they probably have a lot of issues with Ares, and the war, Athena's war side reminds them of what they think Ares is. Yeah, exactly. Spartan women, yeah. Spartan women the best, man. Oh, Aphrodite's war side. Oh man, I've been reading up on that shit. Oh, oh man. There's like so much proof of it. I'm like, why is this not more known that Aphrodite has a war side? Like, I don't understand it. I can't wait to talk all about it. I'm hopefully going to come out with the episode next week because it's a lot of research and I want to make sure I have everything, but I am working on it, which is more than I could say all the other times. I was like, yeah, I'm going to have an episode out. I'm actually every day I'm researching and writing and recording and doing stuff, but yes, exactly. I actually just got a book about Ishtar because I want to actually read more about those goddesses to get a sense of Aphrodite because, you know, it's said that, yeah, Aphrodite's cackle. That she's strongly related to those goddesses, actually might be those goddesses, but with different names. So I kind of want to read that. Oh, I definitely will. Thank you. Yeah, ever since you Ayla mentioned that Aphrodite has like this cackle, and every time since she's mentioned it now that I hear it. That's just what I hear now. Yeah, don't mention Wonder Woman. I do get mad. I'm not going on the Wonder Woman rant again. Well, yeah, we know that she's more than war, but the problem is people ignore the war side of her completely. That's the problem with a lot of things with Athena. It's not that it's Ares that we need to say is more than war, because Ares has a lot of other stuff too that has nothing to do with war, but gets completely just not even acknowledged. But Athena's problem is that people forget her war side and focus primarily on the other aspects of her. Likely because it's also easier because she's a goddess. Because that's a lot of what I'm reading about with Aphrodite is that, you know, a lot of people like to ignore her war side because people don't know how to rationalize that with the femininity and the love and the procreation and the sex and all of that and the romance. Like, people have a hard time, you know, coming to terms with how can this goddess be both? Well, she can, and she is. No, but I don't think so, because we mean Aphrodite. Are we talking about Aphrodite being the powerful goddess? Yeah. But because though we talk about Athena, I'm like, Greece loved Athena. But I think that's kind of like part of it. Was easy for Greece to love Athena because she was definitely portrayed more on the masculine side. Yeah, that's true. But Sparta wasn't. Sparta wasn't too sexist. They worshipped the war side of Aphrodite. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Exactly. Yep. Ares is a protector and a god of courage. That's right. He's the one that, like, I love that he's the one that upholds authority. Like, he like maintains the order, the civil order, but he's also the god of riots. And I love that because to me it's very much he's it's all about for the people. Like, He's not this isn't for the people in power. This isn't for the, like cops or anything. It's specifically for the people. So he upholds civil order as long as it works for the people. And when it doesn't work for the people, then he inspires riots in order to fuck shit up. And let's go. This isn't working. We need a new order here. And that's what he does. And I love it. I love that. War Aphrodite appears Sparta. That makes sense. Athens. No, it doesn't. Abso-fucking-lutely. That basically sums it up. That's basically what happened. Yeah. That's what it was. And Sparta's like, fuck, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Women kick so much ass. Yeah, that's a big problem, Elliot, that people can't seem to associate women with war. Absolutely. That's definitely a big problem. Yeah, Aries is basically what the police should be. That's basically that's Aries. He's what the police should be. Working for the people, not for the system. Am I gonna get all my Aries feels now? I'm getting all the Aries feels now. I should turn my light on. Ugh. The Spartans are awesome. Giving birth is like going to battle. I mean, I've never given birth before, but I've heard stories, and I just am like, why? It is like going to battle. Jesus Christ. You like have the screaming. You got the blood. He is. I do. Ugh, guys are going to make me just get all emotional about Aries. I love Aries so much. He's the best. He is. He's so protective, and he's just so he's so passionate, and he just fights for what he believes in, and he just fights for other people. I love it because I think that's like it aligns a lot with my own values. That's always how I've been. Like I've always been somebody who fights for people who can't fight for themselves or who stands up for people. Like I was always the person that befriended the people who were getting made fun of in school because I didn't care. Like popularity meant nothing to me, and I just like wanted to talk to people and and make friends with people. So like I was always that, and I always like stand up for people when they're getting if they were getting bullied or picked on, and I was never one to just sit there and let it happen. Like that was never me. I always would, especially my friends, forget it. Like I've gotten into so many verbal arguments with people just because they were saying shit to my friends, and I just was like, fuck you, and got like all up in people's faces. Like that's just how I am. And so I relate that, like that's Aries. That's how I like that comes from Aries, I believe. Like just that need and that want to protect people and to take care of people and to stand up for what you know is right. Oh my god, he's like a police dog. Oh. Why did you give me that image? I imagine that you have no chill when defending your loved ones. I would love a moment when like if like me and Ayla were together and somebody tried to like say something to like one of us, I feel like that poor person would just get both of us just like, what? Oh my, I would defend Sky in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? It's funny we were talking about this because yesterday me and my friend were watching Criminal Minds, and there was like a whole thing where one of the agents had a stalker, and it was like this whole big thing, whatever. And then one of the other agents, who's like they're like really close friends, like she shot the guy, and she shot him right in the head. And like afterwards, like the friend was like, I'm so sorry you had to do that. And she was just like, for you, I'd do anything. And then I looked at my friend and I was like, I would do that for you. She's like, you shoot someone in the head for me? I'm like, yep. Like if they were ready to hurt you, yeah, without hesitation. I won't tell Sky, but Apollo probably will. Apollo will tell Sky. Like for my friends, I'll do anything. Like I'm very loyal. I'm a very loyal person, and but it's not even just about my friends though. Like I just stick up for people who, you know, who don't deserve to be picked on or who are getting attacked for no reason whatsoever. Like that's just me. And it's very Aries energy. It's extreme. Like that's exactly how I picture Aries. And that's just always been me, you know. I can't just sit by and just let people like hurt other people in some way, you know, whether it be with their words or, you know, physically. And it's just kind of, I can't sit by and let it happen. Like I have to say something. I have to get involved. That's why, like, honestly, a lot of my issues on Tumblr, and I'm trying not to get be part of drama anymore. Like, I'm really trying for now, like, the spaces that I create to be drama free and to not bring drama into those spaces, because there's enough drama in the world and there's enough shit going on that I don't want to bring drama. But my problem is because I'm like the way that I am, that when I see people just being nasty to other people or just being rude and wrong on top of that, that's the worst. When they're really condescending and nasty and rude and they're completely wrong with everything that they're saying, you're like, can you at least have like the decency to know what you're talking about? If you're going to be this confident in what you're saying. But it's like, especially when it's attacking other people. That's like one of my big problems that I really had to kind of shut down real quick is like TERFs. Like when TERFs go on their whole fucked up bullshit, I have the urge to just, you know, get involved. But it's like, the problem is they're not gonna listen to anything that I have to say, you know? So there's no point. A lot of the people on the internet aren't going to listen to anything. You know, they're just being that way, whether it be because they want to start shit or they want to be a pain in the ass, you know, or it's just ego driven to the point that nothing else is going to get through to them. They're not even going to listen to another side. It's just going to be a fucking argument. So it's kind of like that's a part of me that that it's funny. Apollo has very much been trying to rein that in because, you know, he of course is very protective as well, but he's very big with like picking and choose your battles. Aries a little bit more like, let's fucking go. I'm ready. Like he's ready to fight every battle. He's like, we're fucking going. I got my spear. I don't fucking need a helmet. Who cares? I'm going. I'm gone already. I'm already there. While Apollo is much more like, okay, no. Like much more logical and rational, like, okay, we need to decide whether this is worth the energy you're going to be giving to this. You know, is it worth it? And that's something that I've been trying to learn, especially with being on, you know, I need to turn my light on. It's annoying me. Okay. That's better. Okay. He is so welcoming. Aries is so fucking welcoming. Oh, I love that, Ayla. Aries has his father's strength and his mother's rage. That's good. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so yeah, I'm learning how to pick and choose my battles and understand that I don't have to fight everybody on the internet. I can't fight everybody on the internet. It's not good for me. And that a lot of my energy is better placed instead of fighting people is instead uplifting other people or raising awareness for other people. No, turfs are the worst. He is a true protector. I love Aries so much. Okay. Talked about Aries. We talked about Hephaestus. Did we even talk about Aphrodite? I did. I talked about Aphrodite. Did we even talk about Aphrodite? I did. I talked about her. Oh, Adonis. She loves Adonis. That's for sure. Take that, Apollo. But we talked about Apollo. We talked about Apollo so much. We talked about him so much. Oh my god, Artemis. We're going to definitely be talking a lot about Artemis next month because I think I'm going to be exploring adding her to my worship. I'm very interested in how the dynamic is going to be because I know the dynamic between Apollo and Aphrodite. Like they have a very clear balance, and you know, I don't know what it's going to be like when Artemis comes in. I was joking with Ayla that it might be like, you know, how there's the how your parents try to tell you something and you don't listen to them, but then your cool lesbian aunt comes in and tells you the exact same thing and you're like, okay, and you listen to them. I'm like, I wonder if that's what it's gonna be like. Like Aphrodite and Apollo are gonna be telling me something and I'm just not gonna do it, and then all of a sudden Artemis is just gonna show up and be like, hey, do that thing, and I'm gonna be like, okay, Artemis. Yeah, I definitely will. I'm gonna definitely actually, one of the reasons I'm really excited about adding Artemis in is I feel like I can actually fully document it more than I did with like some of the other deities that I worshipped and everything. So I think I'm gonna actually like document it completely so people can kind of follow along and see what and like what's going on. It's gonna be really interesting. I know she's so cool. Like that's just what it boils down to. Artemis is so fucking cool. I do. I love Artemis. Um I'm super interested in how that's all gonna play out. Cause I'm like there's a part of me that's nervous. I'm like, am I gonna have both the twins yelling at me now? Because I don't think I can handle that. But I have a feeling that that's not. I feel like if Artemis was just gonna be yelling at me, she would have been doing that already. You know? Especially considering I had like wasn't getting anything that she was trying to say to me at all. So I really feel like if that was her thing, she would have been yelling at me already by now. So I don't think it's going to be like that. You should work with Hestia. Hestia is fucking fantastic. I light a candle for Hestia every morning and just thank her for having a warm, inviting, comforting home. And I work with her to, have her help me do my chores and everything. I love her. I hope that's what it is. I hope that Artemis is on my side. I hope Artemis is more there to serve as like a bodyguard to me. Like Apollo goes to yell at me and Artemis just shows up like, leave her alone. That'd be amazing. Oh my god, I'll just hide behind Artemis all the time though. Apollo's gonna be like, you can't hide behind Artemis every time I have to tell you what you need to do. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna. As long as she's here, I'm gonna. Oh man, it's gonna be fun. And then you're just gonna have Aphrodite just sitting there looking at both of them going, they're both so pretty. I think so too, Elliot. I think she will be. Oh, bye, Devon. Thank you for hanging out. And I definitely will be writing all about Artemis. I mean, next month. Speaking of next month, in case any of you are interested, considering, we're almost at 4 hours, so I can talk about it. I have a Discord. It's a secret Discord. I think most of you probably know by now, but I gotta go through the spiel. It's a secret Discord. We operate under Fight Club rules, so we don't talk about the Discord. Mainly just because I want to keep it, keep it small, unmanageable. I don't want it to get, too big, too crazy. You can message me if you want to join. I'll send you the invite link. Message me on any of my social medias. I'll send you the invite link. Oh, thanks, Juan. But the reason I bring it up in because of next month, I am starting a book club on there where we read books. Mainly it's going to be like the mythology and plays. That's mainly what I think we'll be reading mostly. And it's going to be like a book a month. But it starts next month and we're doing the Iliad. Figured that's a good place to start. Let's start with the Iliad. So we're doing that. So yeah, if you want to join in, just let me just send me a message and I'll send you the link and you can join us. Yeah, it's a really let me just tell you that I keep doing it the way that I do it with making it secret and everything, because like the group we have is just so wonderful, and it's just been good to kind of just add a few people here and there and everything, and just the group really is a fantastic supportive group that just we haven't had any issues or drama. Everyone's super chill, laid back. There's me and the mods, and my mods are fantastic, super sweet, understanding, and it's secret until I do a live stream, basically. It's true. I only mention it on the live streams. Because my live streams are so long. Like, I give people like a little bit, some kind of reward. But yeah, it's a really great group of people. A lot of the people who always are on the live streams they're all on my Discord pretty much. So, but I'm trying to also do more with it and have more fun with it. So yeah, we're gonna do a book club, because I figured that is reading some of those stuff, like we want to read it, but it's really fucking hard to read, So I think doing it as a group allows, us to ask questions and be like, okay, what the fuck was going on here? And like clear things up, but then also like apply it to our religion and how we look at our gods and things like that. I think create like a nice, fun discussion. But yeah, so May is when direct message, no comments, because like I said, trying to keep this secret. So if you do send me a ask on Tumblr, don't do it on Anon, because I can't answer it. So, but just direct message me. Oh, Juan, you're hitting my heart. Comparing my stuff to Lana Del Rey. Yeah, you should. I'm really excited about the book club. I really am excited about the book club. It's gonna be we're doing it. Is figured either some of you want to join or some of you already are part of the Discord. So why not just freaking say it right now? How we're gonna have it set up is we're gonna do it over voice chat in Discord. Because I figured that's just easier than everyone trying to type things out. So we're gonna do it over voice chat. But how it'll be done is you don't have to. So I know some people are uncomfortable with that, and that's fine. So we will have a a chat box or a separate channel where you can type things out. So you can mute yourself and listen in on the conversation and like type your thoughts and everything instead of having to talk if you're more comfortable with that. And I'm going to always make sure I look at the chat and refer to it and everything, so everyone feels like they're participating and they're part of it. We're also I'm going to try and record the session, because, not everybody's going to be able to participate. So, just so that they don't miss out on it, they can kind of still follow along by, reading and then listening to what everyone else is saying, and then can also add their own stuff to it. Like discussions don't always necessarily just have to be on the one day, but show what else. Yeah, so we're going to record it. But so yeah, if that's something you're not comfortable with, again, you can mute and then just type stuff out. Or if you just want to listen in, that's fine too. This is all based on comfort and everything. So that's how we're going to do it. I'm also going to, if anyone ever has suggestions on what you'd like to read, let me know, because I'm going to give a list of books to read for the next month and everything, and everyone's going to vote on which one they want to read. And yeah, I think that's everything. I'm gonna my goal is to do like a book a month, so it's gonna be like That's how I'm going to have it set up. So I still have to figure out when the day of the discussion is. I think I'm going to try and um, have a vote on what day works the most for people so we can have the most people there. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'll probably do that soon. No, we're not reading it out loud. What we're doing is you it'll be you'll get like the assignment of, okay, have all of this read by this time, and then that's when we're going to have a discussion about what we read. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be like a book club where, although usually with a book club, I think you read the whole book and then have a discussion on it. But I feel like that's with text like this, it's so much easier to just break it down instead of like being like, read the entire Iliad and then we'll all get together. Like, I think it's easier to just do like, read this chunk, have it like read this chunk by Friday, and then on Friday or Saturday, we'll have the discussion. I mean, truthfully, even if you don't listen, you know me, I'm super chill and laid back. If you just want to like listen in on the discussion and you didn't read it, I don't fucking care. You can listen in on the discussion as well. Like, yeah, just, I have no fucking problems with that. You don't have to read to actually, listen in on discussion. This is just like, we want to try. It's more, this is kind of a way for people to be able to read these things in a place where, they'll be able to ask questions and be able to, talk with other people to figure things out that maybe didn't make any sense or when they didn't understand it. Cause like this stuff's difficult to, it's difficult to understand. Like, honestly, I had a problem reading William Shakespeare for the longest time. I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so I kind of want to use voice chat a little bit more on Discord, considering now I know how to use it. So I was thinking about doing more stuff over there with voice chat. One of the things that I was talking to the mods about too is having like discussions with people and everything, like, because we do, like, me and Ayla doing something in the Discord, where we talk about something and people can listen in. You mean like which translation? It's the one that I have is the Robert Fagel one. That's the one that I'm using. It's the one, and it's the one that a lot of people like. But that reminded me of something else. If when you're in the Discord, if you need a copy of the Iliad, in resources, there's a PDF version of it, and it's actually the translation that I was mentioning before, the one that I really like. So, and then one that I'll be using. So, if you need it, it's there. That's what I'm also trying to do, is kind of try to find ones where it's like available in PDF form for people. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, hit me up. I'll send you the link for Discord. If you're already on Discord, if you're interested in that, then, well, get the Iliad before May 1st. I'll have more details soon. And definitely let me know what you're interested in reading. So let me know, because I need to make a list of choices for people to choose from. No, I don't think it'll be if it's a different language, it'll be that I think because ultimately, you know, the plot is the same. So, okay. Elliot really wants to read Anagon, so I'm gonna add that to the list. Oh, and you're welcome. Yeah, that's how I feel too. I feel like I'm happy I shared everything because I do feel a lot better. I want to thank you all for being just so amazing and supportive and for, helping this space be a safe place, not just for you guys, but for me to share, I really appreciate you holding space for me to be able to share what I'm going through and the things that I'm experiencing and everything. And thank you for sharing what you all are going through so we can kind of have a sense of not feeling alone. Oh my God, we should read Lana's poetry book when it comes out. We should. Absolutely. I mean, if anything, Juan, me and you will just do it then. But yeah, I really do appreciate it. I honestly feel so much better. I was kind of like a little miserable this morning. And I knew like I was a little like, oh, I have to do the live stream, but I knew there was another part of me that was like, you're gonna feel so much better after you do the live stream. And I do. I feel a million times better. So I wanna absolutely thank all of you for just being you and being wonderful, kind, supportive, magical people. The gods are super proud of all of you and they love all of you so much. How could they not? All right. All right. I think it's a good place to end, don't you think? I think we're good. So, yeah, message me for the Discord. Remember, the Witchy Pagan Convention is still looking for panelists and vendors if you're interested. I left a link in the live chat, but if you want, just message me. I'll send you the link for it, or it's also on a lot of my social media too. So, Ayla, I adore you. We need to video chat like soon. Tell Sky I heart them. And I love you all so, so, so very much. Thank you for just everything. Seriously. I don't know like what else to say to really convey how much you all mean to me. I just really hope that you all get through whatever it is that you're struggling with and that the gods guide you and that you find the peace and happiness that you all truly, truly deserve. You deserve happiness. You really do. You deserve everything that you want in life. And I hope one day you realize that and that you go out and get it for yourself. Sky, the disembodied voice. Yep. All right. Love you all so much. Many blessings. Thank you again. Take care. Love you.